I'm really proud of the way that the guys just put in the shit.
Hey, what's it like in Brazil right now? Is it warm? Yeah. It's always hot, huh? Yeah.
It really sucks.
This sucks more than anything that I've ever sucked before.
You getting that ass, Larry? Know what I mean? You getting that ass, Larry. That's what the fuck you do.
We are enjoying a lot about this time here in...
Why are you holding up a card to indicate a penalty? Like, there's so many different things you can do and you decide to hold up a card? That's insane to me.
Oh no, I'm stuck. Step bro, come help me.
Where is the vagina? It's a trick question because you can't see it here. You need to part the labia first.
All right, welcome to Straight Red Card.
I just ended.
Brett just saw that for the first time.
I was expecting that to be to end on something else, but it's just like, wow, and all of a sudden we just show up, and I'm like, oh. Okay.
Yeah, just boom, out. Here we are. Yeah, you got to get in that. You got to get in that ass, Brett. That's what you got to do. You know what I mean? You got to get in that fucking ass.
There's so many things you could do to indicate a penalty besides showing a card, and you show a card. What's that about?
I don't know. This guy was complaining. It's like, why don't they throw a yellow flag instead of? He was just criticizing soccer instead of showing. What's a red card thing about? He was like, didn't get it. It's like, no, that was around a long time before football started throwing flags.
And I'm sorry. Throwing a flag is so dismissive. Like, go away. Whereas the card is like, in your face. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Right. Jack Pineda wants to know what was that about the vagina? It was just an instructional lesson that you have to part the lips to actually see into the vagina. I mean, a lot of people don't know that. People think you're seeing the vagina just because the person's naked, but not really true, honestly. Anyhow, Brett and I are not fully healthy. Brett's better, but he's still sick. But
antibiotics for the win. Woo!
We're back.
Dude, I started popping. The doctor was like, well, it's after giving me a COVID test and all that stuff, came out negative. But he's like, it's either bacterial or it's viral. If it's viral, you just sort of have to wait for it to go away. If it's bacterial, I can give you an antibiotic and maybe it's gone in a couple of days. I'm like, so if it's viral and I take the antibiotic, nothing's going to happen. Just give me the antibiotic.
Yep. I mean, you never. So it ended up
much better after the first day of taking it. And I'm just like, oh, that was it. I mean, I still have this nagging cough ready to go, but don't worry. I downed some cough suppressant. There's a little known medication called Dayquil just a second ago, so I should be fine. Plus some lubrication, keeping it nice and moist.
Speaking of lubrication, we were having that discussion about hairy chicks before the show.
We were. And
I was telling Brett that I used to have this guy in my band named Josh, and Josh Seib. Oh, shit. I shouldn't say his last name. Anyhow.
I feel like if you mention anybody's first name in your band, they probably could go back and figure it out if they wanted to.
Yeah. He was a real ladies guy and good-looking dude. And
not the one that robbed the bank, right?
I didn't have any band members that robbed a bank.
Way to roll with that one, Derek. Jesus.
Yeah. Okay. Anyhow, I don't want to get any of them in trouble. So Josh and I we would go out, and then there was this really cute girl, and we were both had our eye on her, and it ended up that he ended up with her, so he was a real cock block on that one. But at the morning, he came to me and he said, "Hey, dude, you actually won out on that one. Trust me." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "She was hairy," and I said, "She was hairy." Like, what do you mean? Like
that was normal for it. That was normal in the 70s, right?
It was the 90s. And he said, yeah, she had hair on her breasts. And I said, what? Because I've never experienced that before, ever. Never met a chick with hair on her boobs. And he's like, she was the hairiest chick I've ever been with. I'm like, okay, yeah, you did win. Because it's another reason many men aren't attracted to. There's a reason I'm not attracted to men. I don't like hair. I don't like hairiness. And I look in the mirror and I'm disgusted with myself. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, in fairness, I look in the mirror and go, I look good. I look real good. No, but We talked about this last show, actually. Remember we had the whatever that hair boutique place or whatever.
Yeah.
Where, like the women were getting their eyebrows and their
Oh,
armpit
yeah,
hair dyed the same color.
Yeah, that's a thing.
And I'm sitting there going like, no, stop, gross.
Well,
that's the thing, right?
I did also meet once a girl that I really liked a lot, and I went on a date with her, and I noticed she had man hands, but B, she had hair growing on her hands, like on her knuckles and stuff. And I can only imagine how much hairier it was going to get had the night progressed. So we remained good friends. She's a great singer and all that, but I'm just can't get into like hairy chicks or anything hairy. Obviously, hairy guys are totally out of the picture for me. But anyhow, you're saying you're hairless? Is that what you're saying? You don't have much hair?
I wasn't saying anything of the sort, but on top of my head, sure, Derek. Yes, I'm kind of hairless.
Because you're like that super white guy, Irish who burns easy in the sun, sort of hairless creature.
I don't burn that easily.
All right. Anyhow, you're of the northern.
I get where you're getting at there, but I was trying to look into what you're saying there, Derek. Sort of like how I was saying, like, is this the band member that robbed a bank and you didn't roll with it? I'm like, fuck, am I not rolling with whatever Derek's trying to his punchline that's coming up here or something?
I never come with punchlines ever.
That's fair.
Speaking of which, we did mention that naked yoga is now gone from YouTube, as well as the instructional video on how to shave your vagina. All gone.
Nah, we haven't figured that out yet.
Can guarantee it's gone. It's not there anymore. I'm just saying.
I'll do it on our Straight Red Card channel, not my personal one, because I don't want my son accidentally getting that into his feed.
He's gonna see Beaver at some point. Might as well get it over with. Daddy, what's that? Oh, by the way, tonight
shaved beaver. What?
Tonight I'm drinking the Maple Barrel Qualified, which is a barrel-aged Belgian style quadruple ale. The ABV here is 10 flat, 10 even, and I don't know. We'll see how it tastes. Here we go. It's a little sweet. It's a little sweet. A little too mapley for me.
I don't dig sweet beers. Like they have during like Christmas they have like the not cherries. I mean, I know Bell's has a cherry beer that comes out every year seasonally, but I'm just like, oh yeah, here's like the grapefruit IPAs. Even those, I'm like,
oh,
I can't. It's just I don't need fruit in my beer. I'm sorry.
Well, the exception being Three Philosophers with it's blended with a Kriek, Kriek beer, which has
There's a lot of K's there, Derek.
Some cherries in it, but it's not like overwhelming at all. It's just like kind of lingering in the background, right? That's how it's got to be. And this, the maple syrupy thingy, is a little too out front, I would say. It's potable. I'm going to finish this, but they could have been more subtle with this, I think. So anyhow, on the this is again Taxman Brewing Company right here in Indiana. All they do is make Belgian beers, a whole bunch of different ones, and they're way high in alcohol and usually pretty tasty. Their standard quad is fantastic. Their standard double's fantastic. I would give them like out of 10, they're like a 7.5 or a 7. All their beers. This one's more like a 6. It's a little too strong. A lot of talk out there right now on the chat about hairy armpits and stuff.
I just saw that. It popped up.
I did get an interesting question in class. I'm on fall break, which is awesome right now. But before I left fall break on Monday, I got the question, Mr. Ritchie, would you rather be, this is in anatomy, would you rather be a penis doctor? He didn't know what their name would be. A vagina doctor, a colon doctor. He got the colon, which was really good. Or a guy that has like pops all those zits and boils and stuff. And I'm like,
that's a tough question, Derek.
I was like, I think I'm rather not touch a vagina that I don't have any familiarity with.
But I feel like being a male gynecologist would just kind of ruin it for me, right?
I don't want to touch penis. It's not my thing. And then, colons, no, not into that either. So I'm like, you know what? If you forced me to do it, I'd probably, if I had to pick for the 4, pop zits and do boils. And that's disgusting too. But at least
you guys you probably get used to it eventually, but
it'd be gross.
I mean, how often are you going home having to deal with that anyways? Like,
At least I haven't looked at like a savage vagina with all these freaking warts and all this disgusting pus and something coming out of it. Like that would ruin you forever for sex. It would. I'm sorry. You just think of that every time you saw another vagina. So yeah, I'm glad I'm not any of those things.
Beware, Fumar, beware, because you don't get to pick it. I mean,
no.
In theory, if you're a really good guy, maybe you can pick and choose who you have coming in that door, but you don't always get to pick and choose, especially maybe where you here in India, let's just say being a gyno in Carmel and Westfield might be better than, say, 42nd and Post.
Dude,
I'm just saying.
You're still looking at 70-year-old pussy.
Fair enough.
Like, probably a good portion of the day, you're looking at old pussy.
But
you're
the 70-year-olds from Carmel and Westfield are coming like, you're keeping it pretty tight there.
And then imagine the smells and all that coming off from the infections and stuff. That's disgusting.
Just have one of those car fresheners on your nose.
That's not going to help. You still have to inhale it into your lungs. Oh my God, and probably infect you. All right, Jose Reyes for $10. Hey friends, other than Ballo, happy to see some of the guys getting healthy and hopefully having a good showing with a fuller team. And Poach, Pulley playing like pure class right now. Cheers. I agree with the Pulley thing. Okay, was the Olympia goal kind of a freakish thing? Sure, but oh well. It's fine.
It was nicely placed. It was the keeper couldn't decide to come out because there's somebody there. Yeah, it was a well placed ball into the area that happened to have gone in.
And it was definitely a near post call. Yeah. And the guy who was supposed to bump it into the cross and make a cross with it just never got to it. So you get credit for that. I'm sorry, you do. And he's been overall the most consistent and best player on that team, even though he may not be the most talented. Maybe
some Milan Twitter handle labeled him as world class today.
Yeah, I saw that.
Along with a couple other players, of course.
Again, the word world class is not, it's totally subjective. There is no objective. You can lay out your own definition for it, but everybody's got a different definition of what world class is. Some people, world class means Maradona, Beckenbauer, the best in the world, Messi. For others, it's more like, okay, well, are you the top 50 or 25 in your position? Depending on who you are. So there's not one agreed upon definition of what world class is. So when people say that now, I'm like, whatever. He's world class for you. That's fine.
Well. I mean, apparently this Twitter handle just lost all credibility with me if they labeled Murata as world class.
Yeah, I mean it's a stretch, obviously.
A stretch. You gotta dislocate a shoulder for that fucker. Good Lord.
Anything else? Let's see. I had the Krabby Patty Wendy's burger. It was just a Wendy's burger. It was good. It was tasty. I didn't notice anything. What's supposed to be different?
Did you try the pineapple frosty?
I did not get it.
You went that far into getting it, the Krabby Patty, to not get the pineapple frosty just to try it?
Yeah, I watched the guy who does bussin', that guy. And so he's like, this is bussin'. And I'm like, okay, that sounds like something I don't eat fast food very often. And tonight I had a free day and I was bored. I had to run some errands. I saw Wendy's. I'm like, fuck, I'm going in there and trying that Krabby Patty thing. It was good. It was good, but it wasn't like the sauce wasn't that different than, I don't know. It just didn't do like anything magical for me. It was good and it was edible. and I enjoyed it, but it wasn't busting. I'm sorry to the
I've
dude.
never been a big fan of fast food in its own right is rough, and you gotta wheel and deal through some of the garbage that they throw out there. But I've never been a big fan of any of their gimmick shit, regardless of who it is. I mean, Taco Bell with their Dorito shells, it sounds like it'd be great, but I just don't trust that shit.
Yeah. But over the weekend, by the way, I did make my own, not over the weekend. I keep forgetting this is not the weekend. I have fall break.
Yeah.
I made my own beer schinken, which is really tasty. It's a German meat, right? A sandwich meat. You usually eat for breakfast on a Birchen. And so I made my own. I used the recipe, this old like German recipe from 1933. And it's tasty as shit. I'm glad I made, but it's my first time it's kind of like bologna, but not. I don't know how to describe. It's much more tasty. It has coriander and lots of all these different things in it. It's really tasty. I'm glad I did it, and now I'm going to do it. Maybe I'm not going to go out and buy store-bought meats anymore. I'm just going to make my own meat right here. You know what I mean?
Okay, wants to know if I'm Team Chipotle or Team Taco Bell. I'll take Chipotle any goddamn day of the week over Taco Bell.
Oh, boy. I know I'm going to get wrecked for this, but I'm Team Taco Bell. My experiences at Chipotle have been poor to bad, and the food's been garbage. Whereas Taco Bell,
you just expect garbage at Taco Bell, so you can't be let down. Is that what you're telling me?
I like their garbage. I know it's garbage, but I like it, Brett. I can't help it. And it's not like I eat it very often, right? I don't, because I don't eat fast food. But boy, when I get a Taco Bell taco, I just like their tacos. I know.
I don't have a problem with Taco Bell. Not saying anything about it. I'm just saying Chipotle as a whole, as far as quality is concerned, is light years past Taco Bell.
I haven't been there for probably 10 years, so maybe I need to go back.
And you did that at Bloomington, Chipotle, most likely.
Yes, and that's a disgusting
there you
Chipotle.
Go. That's your problem right there.
Yeah, so, that's my experience with Chipotle is Bloomington, and it was gross. It was disgusting and gross, and I think I ended up puking or shitting all day after that.
Well, that was also probably during the Chipotle time when they were having that customers were having like explosive diarrhea anyways.
Yes, it was something about the green onions or something like that.
Something was in there, yeah.
Yeah. All right. For the 130 of you already here in the first early times of the show, thank you. Make sure you like, subscribe, share it with your grandma. We've got all kinds of actual soccer content to get to today, so we're going to start, I guess, now, right?
Well, I got a couple.
Oh, you have some too.
Here. Not me personally, I guess, but stuff you brought my way, some things I've received. So I'm just trying to think if there's anything interesting in my week that I wanted to talk about, but not really.
Outside of being sick as a dog?
Yeah, dude, I took Monday off because I woke up and I'm like, fuck this, I'm not going into work. I was out of commission all weekend because cancel this. Hold on, there you go. So I woke up Friday, and we're supposed to go up to Michigan, and I know a friend of the family was having a 30th birthday and a 70th birthday, all two different people, of course.
Wow.
And I was gonna be DD for a couple of people, recently, just gave birth mother who wants to go out and drink a shit ton,
I bet
one day, it's been so long, I want to just drink, I'm like, all right, well, I can be DD, whatever, it doesn't matter. But I woke up Friday and I'm like, I feel like absolute shit. This is the beginning of it all. And, temperature, just like I'm coughing all over the place. I'm like, I don't even know if I'm going to go up to Michigan. So I took some medication, took the dog into not the pound, but the dog sitting place. They have Camp Bow Wow where he spent all weekend. And came back. I'm like, you know what? I'll be fine to drive up to Michigan and do whatever. In Michigan, I was supposed to pick them up like at 11 o'clock initially. So 9 o'clock rolls around, and I'm like, I need to go out and get some like more NyQuil and DayQuil because this I thought it was a sinus infection. This is really just fucking me over. So I text E, and I'm like, hey, where am I picking you up and when? Because I want to stop off at Myers beforehand and get X, Y, and Z.
Sure.
And she responds by going, shh, go night-night. And I go, the fuck does that mean? Do you have a ride? And she doesn't respond for like 15 minutes. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to go to CVS right now. Assuming she has a ride, I'm going to go ahead and get the stuff I need. But I found out that her mother-in-law had or not her mother-in-law, I'm going to phrase her stepmom, had NyQuil and DayQuil. I was this fucking close to downing a bunch of fucking NyQuil to put my ass out. When she's like, come pick us up at 11:30 at this place. I'm like,
well,
there's another fucking hour I got to wait for this shit.
Yeah, being sick sucks. No way around it. As for what I'm smoking, I'm not going to give away the brand until they sponsor the show. Just saying.
Why not? Why won't they?
Well, because I think it's actually illegal.
That's fair.
By the way, I didn't get...
if I were in California, I'd be smoking this stuff right here. Hey.
Right. Listen, don't start smoking. It's a horrible fucking habit. I've quit a billion times and restarted a billion times. So, Derek smokes Virginia Slims. I love it.
Are you referring to smoking across the board, or are you just saying cigarettes in this situation?
Yeah, that's cigarettes.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
wait. This wouldn't be the situation then, because it wouldn't be illegal for you to say, "Hey, I'm smoking X, Y, or Z right here."
Yeah, I just don't want to put out the brand. You know, I don't want to endorse anything.
That's fair, but I'm just saying if it was cigarettes, then that company could sponsor the show and it wouldn't be illegal.
I think it would be. You're not allowed to actually run ads as a company making tobacco. It's absolutely illegal in the United States. That's why there are no more billboards. There are no more camel clocks. There's nothing. No more commercials in magazines.
That's fair. But I guess at that point, do they really need to advertise? But
They don't. It's just people like me that are addicted, then stop smoking, then restart smoking. I thought he smoked pot or pole. Nope, never smoked a pole before. All right. Not against it.
As long as Derek's not getting paid, that's not illegal in Indiana.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I've done a lot of smoking on the show. It's not all cigarettes. So let's just leave it at that. All right. We'll move on to the 150 of you here now. Make sure, cheers. This is potable, but not great. And this is the qualified beer. All right, what else we got, Brett?
Moving on up
to the top. Oh yeah, Salty Sarsaparilla. He sounds like a real
nice name, by the way.
I know, nice name, but sounds a little pussy whipped in this. I'm truly undecided on who he's going to vote for. I would sit out because I'm okay with whoever y'all pick. What? But my girlfriend really wants me to vote, and she's for Kamala. So I'll vote for Kamala, who will win in my state, regardless. You must live in California. What's the show?
Or New York.
Or New York, yeah. The coasts.
Or Connecticut.
The coasts.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Well, the Northeast or California. Or Northeast or West Coast, actually. Let's rephrase that.
Both coasts. Not
completely.
Well, no, because you've got...
The East Coast is going to get split.
You got Georgia, Florida. Yeah, of course. Yeah, Carolina's up for grabs.
Yeah.
But, you know, he goes on, hit the show more part. Okay. Being in a happy relationship is far more important than voting. These two will last 4 years. She will, God willing, be with me for life. So there you go. He's basically voting the way his girlfriend, or I guess his future wife, is going. Like, I mean,
here's the thing, though. I mean, he sounds like he's either uneducated on it or doesn't really care.
Well, so no, he doesn't care.
I'm just saying he could vote for whomever he wants to and just say, "Oh yeah, I voted for Kamala," if he wanted to.
Well, that's true, but what he's saying here is that he's going to vote for Harris because his girlfriend told him to. And he could go in there. He could go in there and vote
Brett,
for
underpants.
He could, but you're being thoughtful.
He could write in Captain Underpants.
He is declaring what he is doing here, Brett. He's not saying he's going to be sneaky about it. No, he's not. He's saying, I am voting for who my girlfriend tells me to vote because I am a bitch. I am her bitch.
I think
And
he has it right there.
This is your girlfriend. You're not even married to this woman yet, and you're thinking so far ahead. What kind of, like, this is something Pete would read, and Pete would go, "You're whipped, dude, and no whipped dude survives a relationship, so you better unwhip yourself fast." He's already talking about the future. I bet you if you talk to her, Mrs. Sarsaparilla would say, "Yeah, he's kind of a pussy. You know, I'm his boss." That's all I'm saying.
I got a side piece over there. Don't worry. Here, the thing is, vote for whoever you want. I don't really care. I'm not saying one way or another. I'm just saying that he has many options here. He can literally go, "Oh yeah, I'm going to go into work and vote," and not actually go and vote.
You're being
he doesn't have to stand in the line and wait for 40 fucking minutes to go ka-chunk and then go off and then, yep, look, I got my sticker saying I voted for her.
But Brett, you're being thoughtful and sneaky. This guy is being publicly saying he's a simp and he's okay with it. So no, he's not going to be sneaky. He's going to go in there and bitch vote. That's what he's going to do. And not because he believed in anything.
Yeah.
And then Alexi says, "Fair enough, but you're not undecided. You simply decide to vote relative to the path of your least resistance and the most personal benefit." Like, how much extra sex is he going to get? How many extra blowjobs are you going to get for casting this vote for Kamala? Whatever her fucking name is.
Doing her doggy style going, "I voted for Kamala."
Yeah. Somebody asked, is it true that all 50-year-olds become Republicans when they turn 50? No. It's not. That's not what's going on out there, people. That's just not what's going on. We were living in a fucked up world. When I was young, the Democrats were the party of the working man and the working class. That's what they were. That's not what they are anymore. They are the party of the elite, and that's what the Republicans were back in the day. The party of the elite, the party of big business and big corporations. What the fuck's going on? What happened to my party? So for me, my party's gone way right of where I am personally and who I am. So they've left me. They've gone to the right. And then the only weird left-ass issues they focused on are weird fucking shit. And I think that's mostly a distraction to distract you from the fact that the Democratic Party has become the Republican Party. That's what they've become. They're fucking neocons too now. They're basically Bush Cheney, neocons. So fuck them. Like, as I said before many times, if you're a Republican, there's nothing for you to be proud of. And if you're a Democrat, there's definitely nothing for you to be proud of. So go vote however you want. Don't take any of my advice because I'm not going to give you any. Not giving you any.
The funny thing is, I know this does not apply to you, Derek, because you are, in fact, a history buff as well. But Shane Gillis has a whole skit about all this. Basically, it's like, I'm afraid it's a slippery slope, but I'm becoming a Republican. He basically alludes to, he's like, it's not what I wanted to do. Do you think I wanted to say I want to be an unlikable prick? No, I never said that. But the more I'm getting into history, the more I'm realizing I'm becoming more and more Republican.
And I'll just say that things are so fucked up at this point. Like, there was an anti-establishment Democrat named Bernie Sanders. And, there's an anti-establishment Republican named Donald Trump who's fucking up the Republican Party. Just like Bernie, I think, would have totally transformed the Democratic Party into something more real. But then he became a cuck. And now I don't like him anymore. And so, anyhow, 169 of you here now. Yes.
He became salty, huh?
He bent over and just
became salty. The guy.
Oh, he became salty. Salty sarsaparilla. Yeah.
Yes.
Anyhow, people, we're not going to get any further into this because it's extremely complex, and my beliefs and my thoughts on this are extremely complex. They're not easy, and I had to describe them to people that I've known for a long time and saw again at that musical thing, and they're just like, "Oh my God, I'm so confused. What are you saying?" I'm like,
ultimately, if you vote one way or another, we don't care. It's up to you. It's your decision how you want to vote. You're still all welcomed here. We're all cool. So
Yeah, I'm a lifelong Democrat that's no longer a Democrat. I am now a registered independent, and there's a reason for that, and I'm not getting into it here because it's personal. And but anybody can look at my history; they're finding it online anyhow, and see that I've actually been a Democratic operative for years too, and worked for the Democratic Party. So no, I'm not. I'm just saying that's not the party. That is the Democratic Party is not the party I grew up with.
I think
Not
Derek
at
was
all.
in some of the Hunter Biden photos, actually.
No, I was not. Yeah, I was keeping the the Asian prostitute that he got. I was keeping her awake so he could, because he was all hopped up on the coke, and she was tired and needed some sleep. Anyhow, here we go.
Chris Garrett. Oh, go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say I could have my own political channel because it would be fun, but I just don't think that it's worth it at this point because it's so.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. If you had your own political channel, let's just say, and you did this on as well, there would be people in not the community in the chat or anything, but at the community, the soccer community as a whole, that would absolutely either favor you or exclude you because of your personal beliefs on a separate channel, not necessarily your soccer understanding, or your taste.
They might, but if they understood how complex and how nuanced it was, they might go, okay, I get it. I actually get what you're saying. Jack in the Box is underrated. The tacos are good. We don't have a Jack in the Box in Indiana.
There's one at 96th Street and 116 in Allisonville.
No fucking shit.
Yeah.
That's brand new then.
It's been there for about a decade.
I didn't know we had a Jack in the Box in Indiana.
I think that's the only one.
Okay. Awesome. I'm going there. I used to love Jack in the Box in the old days. So anyhow, there was another one you missed.
Well, yeah, but we're into it. Don't worry.
Oh, have you guys seen the Guys for Kamala ad? I don't want to see it.
I have. I don't
want to see it.
I almost think it's a parody. I really have to think it's a parody.
Are this the one where they're dancing in front of their garages?
No, it's just a guy would be like, I am voting for Kamala, and I know how to fix a car, but I also know how to cry in front of my wife. That type of shit. I'm looking at him going like, is this a parody? Is this real? I don't know what to think from it. I feel like it has to be a parody.
I don't know about crying in front of your wife. I mean,
well, that's
like not on a regular basis, I hope.
Yeah.
Because you're supposed to generally be, this is old fashioned.
I climb up mountains, but I also have a favorite housewife of New York City.
Yeah.
What the fuck am I listening to here?
That's pretty cringe. Pretty bad. All right. We might have missed another one. I think there was more.
This is all four of them, all super chats.
Thank you, Nibble. No, this is Nibble. Crazy how Tulsi went from Bernie to Trump. Not really. In fact, all the numbers say about 18% of Bernie supporters, anti-establishment supporters, did vote for Trump in the last time Trump ran. The first time Trump ran. Once Bernie got booted out, there are a lot of people, anti-establishment people, just looking for someone who's going to go in and fuck up the establishment. They don't care if it's Bernie and they don't care if it's Trump. That's what they want. They want somebody who's going to go in and fuck shit up. And I can understand that sentiment in a lot of ways. I obviously was a Bernie supporter too back in the day. But I understand that sentiment. It's been expressed to me many times, and I can understand where they're coming from. Something needs to change. And I don't know how you fuck it up enough, but something needs to be fucked up because what we got right now on both parties right now sucks. Absolutely sucks. Like I've never felt so like no connection to anything politically. And, voting for the Green Party or anything else is a total wasted vote. I mean, you could do it as a protest vote, but
you still spend 40 minutes waiting in line to do nothing, basically.
Exactly. It's painful. So we're in a bad place politically in this country. What is even worse than the fact of the reality that we're in the worst place we've ever been politically is that people are hating each other for shit that's useless. Like both parties suck. Like, why is anybody standing up for either party? I mean, you really like who's the turtle guy from Kentucky that runs the Senate? Republicans. That guy's a fucking twit.
Oh, the guy who's pretty much comatose at this point?
Yes. Like,
what is his name? God, why am I spacing his name?
Is that something you support or a person you would? No, that guy's a fucking twat.
Mitch McConnell, thank you. Jackie D and then DK had it.
And then there are people on the other side who are twat dinkles too. All they do is spew the party line. We're just in a world of dogma right now politically. It's not like the bulk of both parties, suck dick. Yeah. So we're looking for anybody from the outside, I guess is what somebody told me. I'll take anybody from the outside to come in and fuck this shit up. Yeah. Well, good luck. I hope that works, but it's going to take a lot. It's going to take
We were talking about the guys for Kamala video, two super chats ago. Here's what some other people thought of it. Anthony says it's cringe as fuck.
Yep.
John thought it was a psyop. Anthony goes, that shit was real.
Yeah.
I hope not. I mean, seriously.
Could be.
Is that a Kamala ad or a Trump ad?
Yeah. I mean, we're not going to avoid this topic altogether. Obviously, the election's coming up in 2 weeks. Right? I mean, like, how are we going to avoid this completely? There's no way to do it. But I'm not going all fucking, Alexi Lawless. I'm not telling you where I stand. I'm not going to explain it for fucking, it's going to take an hour for me to explain how I feel about it and where I'm at right now. So I'm not going to do it. But I'll just say I'm disappointed generally with where politics is now. It's horrific. It's as Barkley would say, it's terrible. Absolutely terrible.
TRBL terrible.
Yep.
Yeah. Jack Pineda says 2 weeks. Holy fuck.
Yep. I know.
Right around the corner, man.
All right. For the 185 of you in here now, make sure you like, subscribe, share it with grandma. I'm sorry we were gone for so long. I was playing a show last Thursday. Then on Monday, Brett was sick as a dog.
Damn, I did not put two and two together as far as it's being gone for 2 full shows in a row. That's I forgot all about that.
It's been a long time. I mean, it feels like a long time. Yeah. I don't know. I think we did them the Monday after I came back because that was 11th. Yeah.
We would have done the Monday and the Thursday then.
We would have missed a Thursday, done the Monday, done the Thursday, missed the next Monday.
There we go.
Now a Thursday.
Okay, that makes more sense to me. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. All right.
So Chris Gary tagged us on this, and he wants us to address what this is talking about. So let's just open this up in a new tab.
Okay.
Oh, wow, that is zoomed in way too much.
People should clock in when they leave home, not when they get to work. The commute is not free time. You know what? That's a great point. I drive 40 minutes to work every day. Yeah. So I kind of agree there. Like, I'm driving to work for 40 minutes. Now you can say, hey, dumbass, move. Get a new fucking apartment, shit fuck.
That's tricky. That's tricky because, Derek, you could take 465 west and do the entire loop in the morning and then still cut down Meridian and get to your work like an hour and a half after you left your work.
Can I just say I agree with the sentiment, but it's not doable.
It's not doable because of the reason I just emphasized.
Right, exactly.
So, no, I agree wholeheartedly that.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's coming up.
No.
I agree that the commute sucks, especially if you live in a major city. You hear about LA's traffic all the time.
Oh, fuck that.
I mean, we joke about Chicago, how getting to a Chicago Fire game without an actual car, if you're taking public transit, it would take you the same amount of time to get from the north side of Chicago to Toyota Park, back when they played at Toyota Park, than it would for me to drive from Indianapolis to Toyota Park.
Yeah.
So I understand it sucks.
Yep, it does suck.
But maybe if don't live in the house you live in. Maybe you have to move.
If you have a good employer, though, they'll understand. Hey, I stuck in a traffic jam, So I do have that. So I'm good with that. For the 205 of you, glad we busted 200 already. Make sure you like, subscribe, share with your grandma or your stepsister if she's been around or if she's stuck in the dryer.
Hey,
Make sure
yeah.
smack her in the ass for us and tell her hello.
The joy about today and most jobs now, not most jobs, at least some jobs, is that you can start encouraging your employer to work from home.
Yep.
So, I mean, fuck the commute. So,
Yep.
That's an idea. It's an idea.
Some people like it old fashioned. Show up.
Dude, I'll flat out say this right now because you brought that up, the old fashioned as far as going to work and stuff. I want a hybrid. I want a hybrid job where I spend like maybe 2 or 3 days at work and I spend 2 or 3 days at home, whatever it is. I could not do a full week at home consistently. It would drive me insane.
Oh, for sure.
I would grow to hate my house.
Especially the summers.
Yeah.
Because the kids would be there every day too. So, you're working, but you're really responsible for the kids too. Nibble says for $2, thank you, Nibble. Changing the subject, camel toe or whale tail? Like, what do you mean? Like preference?
Visually speaking, I imagine. Like, would you prefer, like, if you see a chick, would you like it more if you saw her with, some camel toe, or would you prefer like to see some whale tail?
Can you describe the whale tail for me?
It's a thong that's sticking outside of the underpants when she's sitting down, and you just see the what appears to be almost like a whale tail to an extent.
Oh.
I mean, do you need to see the inner workings of her vagina through her pants?
Not really.
Or would you like to get the the mystery of the whale tail and what happens underneath the waters, if you will?
Yeah, I don't know if those things were ever things I stared at. I was looking for good, nice thin legs, some firm.
Hard to miss and not stare at a chick sitting down. Just you see some whale tail, you're like, what the fuck, really?
I guess. I don't know. Just wasn't my bag. I never stared like that.
Fremore says leggings and yoga pants are a gift from God.
Yeah. Okay.
They
Yeah.
leave very little to the imagination too at this point.
That's true.
You know what you're getting into. Put it that way.
Derek looks for tramp stamp. I do not.
Lies, Derek.
I do not look for tramp stamp. In fact, not a big fan of tattoos in general. But my wife.
Hopefully, my wife isn't watching this right now.
No, my ex-wife had tattoos. Lori had tattoos.
He hates the fact that she's got a tramp stamp.
I don't hate anything like that. I just
hates. She hates. She's like, I hate the fact that it's called. She likes the tattoo she has there, but she's like, I hate the fact that it's called a tramp stamp.
And that you have to look at every time you're doing your doggy. It's kind of like
with that at all. What are you talking about?
I'm sure you don't. All right, Alex Better, which is, I met his cousin Alex Best, but Alex is still better. $5. Thank you, my man.
Thankfully, you haven't met Alex Worst. So
yeah, I heard that guy's a real dick. Trump got us the 2026 World Cup by threatening to cut foreign aid to countries who voted against the U.S.-Mexican ticket. FIFA voted in 2018.
Yeah, my vote then. Let's go.
Listen, I guess that worked. I'm not sure how it all went down behind the scenes, though. So,
yeah. All right.
Soccer, anyone? Anyone want to talk soccer? All right, here we go.
Soccer. Here we go.
Here we go.
We got the photo of the AC Milan team, the team photo. Have you seen this yet, Derek?
Yeah, it was a little weird.
Let's open this up in a new tab and let's take a look at this. Oh, this time it's really small. Can you see?
They look like ants.
Look like ants.
Is this a photo for ants?
Oh no, it's gonna be super fucking blurry and won't make my point. No. So, Derek, if you were to pull up this this photo and zoom in on it on a normal computer, not streaming and everything like that, you would see that there are some photos. Maybe it's just a hyper good quality camera that took this photo, but there are some players on this in this picture that don't look right.
Yes.
So
Musa.
let's see a Musa in this situation, definitely. There you go. Let's see.
I mean, could that be real? It could be.
Could be.
It might be, doctored. But I doubt it. It just looks weird because around the neck, you can kind of see this weird shadow, and you're like,
The lighting, I mean, it's taken outside, maybe not necessarily at noon by any means, maybe it's at dusk. But I mean, it looks like it's taken in that specific photo is taken in a studio of some form.
maybe. At least he's not picking his nose.
That's right. Moose is not smiling. It must be AI. He's got a great point here. Good catch, judgmental.
Yeah, I don't know if you smile in a team photo.
Moose is never not smiling is the point, though.
Yeah, he does. He has moments where he's not smiling. Come on.
Well, he probably wasn't smiling after that Mexico game. I agree.
Yeah. So he's not a regular starter on the team either. So maybe he's not as happy as you think he is. All right. What else we got? By the way,
that's a shame.
Cheers to those who realize I have my voice back. We'll see how long it lasts.
For now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. John says it's bad photoshopping.
Could be.
He wasn't the only one in that picture because I looked at it before we went live. When I was at work, actually, so it was way before we went live, of course. But he wasn't the only one I looked at that goes, that doesn't look right.
But you know what? Here's my basic bottom line on that. Who fucking cares? I don't care.
Fair. I mean, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
They're all part of the team. It just seems like it's not necessary unless they tried to take the team photo and every one of them was like squinting or maybe they're blinking or there's some joker in the back that was smiling, giving somebody bunny ears.
Don't care.
You never know.
Don't care.
And they're like, you know what? We're just gonna crop their team photo and put it over their face.
Give a shit level. It's still at 0. All right, where are we moving on?
Maybe at 0.1, Derek. Come on.
Stop pushing this issue.
Give me something, Derek.
Move on.
Musa.
Let's move on, Musa.
All right.
It looked a little funky, but
Yo.
other than that, don't care.
Nothing really to talk about here, but
Indy 11, hello Hoosiers. Hit the love button. All I see when I see the word clinched is I just think of butt cheeks.
Yeah, absolutely. That's how tight it was to get into the playoffs this year.
So,
unlike MLS, where 60% of the teams make it, who aren't named Chicago, unless you're the MLS Next Pro team version.
Yeah, that's great.
Indy 11 made it. I brought it up just to say, hey, look at that.
Yep, they won't be around in 2 years. No big deal.
Yeah.
All right.
You just made it sad, Derek. I wanted to bring in some happiness, some jovial topics here.
Sorry, Simon.
You made it sad. You made it sad.
Simon and company are buying an MLS team. Goodbye, Indy 11.
You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Yeah. Congratulations to Coco Cascarilla on being named the CONCACAF Player of the Year. How is he named CONCACAF Player? He plays in MLS. There are a bunch of fucking CONCACAF players that play overseas and do great things and are doing great things currently. What the fuck is this? How nothing against this guy. I think he's a fine player in the MLS and a fine player for his national team. But what? What?
Well, I mean, they did make it out of the group stage in Copa.
Oh, squat. So what?
And
No,
he does play for the Houston Dynamo too. Okay,
the Houston Dynamo. Is that what you said, Houston?
Houston
what are you
Dynamo.
from? You from Barcelona now? I'm just saying.
Yeah. I always say that too. I'm like, it's actually pronounced Barcelona, and E is always like, shut the fuck up.
Well, it's pronounced Barcelona in Barcelona, but the rest, northern Spain says Barcelona. They don't say Barcelona. That's very much a southern or Barcelona accent thing to do. Anyhow, well, good for him. Great for him. Useless fucking trophy anyhow. I just don't know You can't tell me that Coco is at the same level. No, he's of course not at the same level as Bailey, Weston, Pulisic. Of course not. It's a joke. But all right, whatever. David, yeah. Fu Morris, I see you.
I mean, even taking the fact that they may have gotten moved out of the group stage in Copa, club level. I mean, he does. Who cares about his international level at that point? His club level doesn't compete.
Does club level count? Because if it does, there are a bunch of motherfuckers who got ass raped on this one. That
I imagine club level, your club play is a factor. Yes, I imagine.
I mean, was this the Russian judges that made the sway? I don't know. Anyhow, that's Olympic reference.
Are you Russian? Yeah. Very much an Olympic Russian. Yeah.
Yeah. The Russian judge gives US a 0. All right. What else we got?
Moving to some MLS talk here.
Don Garber, MLS fucking bullshit commissioner who also sits on the US board of directors. If you were to ask the people that are running some of the big European leagues, they'd say, boy, MLS has got it right. Name one, you dickface. I think we have a model that has driven our success, and I think that model was adapted around the world. Football would be a much better place. No, it wouldn't be.
Much better shape.
Better shape, place, fucking whatever you want to call it. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. What is he talking about? Like, does he want like those kind of dreadful cost caps around the world? Certainly, the players don't.
Well, I mean, I would imagine that there are many leagues out. There would be many leagues out there that would happy to incorporate some kind of a cap of some form.
Okay, fine, but you don't want to get to the point where like there's 3 players on your team making like 80% of the salary cap.
Sure.
Right? And that's where we're at MLS for some teams, not all. Like, no, you don't want that. And that would piss off all the regular players out there who contribute to their teams on big clubs. And they're not getting that outpaid by the best players on the team. Where in MLS, it's a have and have not setup. Fuck that setup. If you're a player, you're like, no, I don't want to play in that setup where 3 players make millions and I'm making fucking $120,000. No, fuck that shit.
Well, and you know why no league in Europe would actually follow suit in MLS with this? Is because let's say England were like, yeah, we're going to incorporate a cap because player prices and the cost for transfers just getting too outrageous. So we're going to start incorporating this cap.
They do have a cap.
Let's say Germany's like, we're going to implement this cap too.
They have a cap too.
Italy's like, we're going to implement this cap, and then all of a sudden Spain's like, we're not. So Spain becomes the best league in Europe.
So there is a cap. It's called financial fair play.
Yeah, EPL's changing their financial fair play though.
Well, we'll see where that goes. But right now, there is a sort of a cap. Sort of. It's not a cap, as we all know caps to be.
That's based on the money you bring in, though.
Correct. So there is a limit. You can't just go out there and say, we don't have this money, but we're going to spend it anyhow. No, you can't do that anymore.
But that limit also fucks over the smaller clubs.
It sure as fuck does. Yes.
So it's not the same. Whereas MLS is like, well, we all have the same cap. So that's what I'm saying. So yes, they do have a cap because of the financial fair play. But if you're somebody like Man City who's bringing in billions,
BMR, a cap, quote cap. We're not saying there is a cap. It is in quotations. It is a BMR. We're saying there is a limit. Basically, is what we're saying. That's all.
So,
just saying.
So yeah, it's there's no league in MLS that's ever unless all of Europe gets together and says, hey, let's all do this
and get rid of promotion and relegation.
Nobody is ever going to do it.
And get rid of promotion and relegation.
Yeah. Hey, it works for MLS. Why not in England? Hey,
I'm not sure that was in his statement, but this whole idea that it's a model the rest of the world should follow. Fuck you and your arrogant prick self. for just thinking you developed something so fabulous that the world needs to suck your cock and adopt your sperm as their fucking way of doing business. Fuck you football fucking NFL bitch. Fuck off, Garber.
The irony behind it all here, Derek, is that how much of the MLS model are European teams or leagues taking, and then how much is MLS complying to more of the European-esque model? Because apparently MLS is considering as soon as 2026 to go to a fall-spring season.
That doesn't really make it a copy of the European League. It just
we're kind of going to the whole FIFA window.
It just makes sense. Is what it does.
Now, and then here's the big question too, because as I mentioned above, here's hoping Chicago Stadium has full walls leading to the roof, because the wind that whipped through Toyota Stadium in March was brutal.
I agree. That's why that Chicago's games are going to be front loaded during the spring, and during the winter they'll be playing a lot of games away down south somewhere. They'll figure it out. Trust me.
Well, then that's also the problem too, because the schedule every year is going to be almost identical.
Yeah,
exactly when your home games are going to be and your away games are going to be, and like I said, unless Chicago does just an open center of the a stadium and it's all blocked up all the way to the top, and it's open just above the field, you could do that. As long as you don't have corridors where the wind can whip through, like at Toyota Park. That was fucking brutal.
No, it'll be brutal for some teams, especially Chicago, that far north.
Toronto, Montreal,
yes,
Minnesota.
They're going to find themselves heavily loaded at the beginning of the spring with a lot of games at home. And then they're going to not play many games in February and March. And then maybe in April, near the very end of the season, they'll play some games. But
somebody posed a decent point or decent comment here on this thread, actually, that it could be that MLS hosts a typical European type window, but then during that whole like January to February moment is perhaps when they do the Nations League.
It could be. Also, they're going to take 5 to 6 weeks off during that cold ass period. So,
that's what I'm saying. If you do maybe Nations League during that point, but then again, if you're hosting it only in the U.S., then those northern teams are still fucked when it comes to the games in Nations League. So how does that work out? Are they going to be held in Mexico?
Don't worry. Don't get me started on Nations League. Fucking bullshit ass, fucking made up bullshit. So, yeah, and now the Gold Cup is completely meaningless at this point. It's going to be played by our 2-team or 3-team, C team, D teams from here on out. And then we'll never get to play a friendly against anybody.
I meant to say Leagues Cup. I'm sorry. I meant to say Leagues Cup.
Oh, Leagues Cup. Okay.
Leagues Cup during the winter. Yes, my bad.
All right.
I wonder, did I say Nations League? Fuck, I fucked that royal. Yeah. No. Yeah. Gold Cup is pointless unless this upcoming Gold Cup is going to be the include 2 from each, conference. Well, not conference, but federation, etc. That they had talked about.
Maybe they will, because they want to pretend that it's a real tournament now, and
a real boy.
We need to obviously have some real tournament play leading into the World Cup. So maybe it'll be relevant, maybe it won't. We'll see.
It's one of the few windows that Poach is going to have. So I mean, I imagine that he's going to probably ideally bring an A squad for that.
Yeah,
that's more games than what Nations League will bring. So if you're going to have to choose between leading into the World Cup, playing competitive games in the Gold Cup or playing competitive games in Nations League, you're going to bring your more B/C squad to Nations League at that point.
Yep, exactly.
Assuming we get there, we pulled fucking Jamaica, so who fucking knows?
I mean, this whole Nations League thing is the dumbest conceived idea in the world.
I hate it. I mean, I understand the small guys thing, but I hate it.
I think it would have been better off if he would have conceived Infantino, baby man, would have conceived of world groups of Nations League, where, let's say, the top 3 teams from every confederations, all the different confederations, played a tournament against each other called the Nations Leagues. And then there's a B level of that, and a C level, and a D level. Then you would have had the United States probably in the top tier playing against England, France, and, whoever is in the top 3, Germany, or whomever is at the time. And then you would have sort of a relegation promotion thing from Group A's, 10 teams, 8 teams down to that would have been much better. Much better. What we got now, though, sucks. Like, we're stuck playing CONCACAF for the rest of the fucking, until Infantino loses his job, and they're like, yeah, this is a horrible idea. We need to stop doing Nations League. It's stupid. I mean, it's just repetitive. We already got the European Cup. What do we need the European teams? Why do we have another tournament that they're playing in against each other? What the fuck is that about? No, if you want it to be a Nations League, then let's mix up the nations a little more. Let's mix it up a little.
You don't have to do it every year.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to do that, make the Euros once every cycle. Make Nations League once every cycle.
Can you imagine a Nations League that has England, France, Germany, Mexico, United States, Canada, from Africa, you have Cameroon, or whatever. Like, it's like, and then you split up into groups of 4 from all the different continents, and that's the Nations League. It's an ongoing international Nations League. Not this bullshit where you're stuck playing Jamaica and fucking Trinidad and Tobago constantly. How fucking ridiculously stupid is that? That doesn't help anybody.
Well, so, taking even less for CONCACAF because of who's in the next divisions, but taking Europe as an example, if you were to say make it once a cycle, how important would those games be for the promotion side and the relegation side to avoid either getting relegated or promoted if it's once a cycle? I feel like that would be much more impressive than once a fucking year.
Well, yeah, nobody cares about it either.
Yeah, it's just they're all glorified friendlies. It's all they are. Who cares?
And Hot Black is right. Intercontinental Nations League will never happen. He's right. Not in the current way Infantino is thinking. No way will that ever happen. And it's more expensive, obviously, to do that. So, there's more travel involved if the U.S. has to go play France. But, they would have played France anyhow in a friendly back in the day. So is it really that more expensive? It would be like the proper windows we used to have where we would travel to Europe under Klinsmann and play the Dutch, then play Italy, and then play Croatia or whomever, right? We used to do shit like that. Now we can't do it.
It'd be easier for teams like Guatemala to play Cuba than it would be, say, Guatemala to fly over to play Angola.
Or New Zealand. Exactly. That's probably the problem. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe it should only be focused on the top X amount of teams from each federation. Well, why are we even speculating this? Again, it's never going to fucking happen. So who cares?
No, it's not, because it's too smart of an idea where you take the top 3 or 4 nations from every continent outside of fucking Oceania, because they can suck my dick, and they all play in a Nations League against each other. Mm-hmm. And then a couple of them get relegated. Like, you could have 2 tiers of that, because there are 2 tiers.
Easy.
Who could afford that easily, that are not Guatemala, right? Who could?
Well, and let's say a certain federation can't afford 2 or 3 teams, then they lose one of their spots to a different federation.
Yeah, if you can't afford it, you're out.
This makes too much sense.
It would be much more fun to watch.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Because I am so fucking bored watching USA versus anybody in CONCACAF now.
Don't worry, we just scheduled a new friendly in May against Canada and El Salvador. So.
Oh my God. It's like sticking ice pick through my fucking skull already.
All right.
God damn it. This is painful. Yeah.
Well,
fix this, Infantino, you infantile mind. Fix it, you dumb fuck. This is so boring for us. It's boring for people in Europe. It's boring for, maybe not in Europe. It's boring for people in Asia. Now
it's got to be killing the mood, quite frankly. It's got to be killing the mood for soccer at that point.
Yeah, they're already playing tournaments against each other now.
South Korea's like, great, we're playing Saudi Arabia again.
Oh my God, we're playing Japan the 6th time this season. Oh, good. Joy, joy, joy. How to he just super regionalized the whole world into pockets that will never, ever be able to play each other again during the windows because of fucking Nations League. It's pathetic, frankly, and stupid. Moreover, anyhow, sorry, let's move on. No more time on this. No more time.
Yeah, we're gonna branch off into a new and old and classic topic here.
Do not panic. Do not panic. Cap them now. Cap them now. Cap them now. Zach McCabe, one of my faves. Santiago Castaneda, a Venezuelan, I believe that's the flag, American, has appeared.
Colombia.
Colombia, my bad. Yeah, that's Colombia. My bad. They're close. Has appeared in 10 matches for Paderborn this season. I've mentioned him twice on the show already in the 2 Bundesliga. Here are his stats from the 9 league matches and the Pokal match. Appearances 10, starts 10, bunch of minutes, goals.
Averaged basically a starter full 90 every match almost.
And he's a kid. He's what, 18?
04, so maybe 20.
19.
Depending.
He's 19.
19 to 20. Depends, I guess.
So, still a teenager, doing this for, a pretty good team in 2 Bundesliga, a regular starter. He's a kid to keep an eye on, for sure. Is that Venezuela? I still can't tell. It's too small for me. Is it Venezuela or is it?
It is Colombia.
Nope, somebody else. This is Venezuela. Says
I'm highlighting over the flag. It says the flag of Colombia.
Okay.
Maybe Twitter's wrong. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's so small. It's hard for me to tell what that is. But anyhow, I'm sure it's Colombia.
Colombia.
Sure, they're similar, Brett. They're very similar.
Flag of Venezuela.
They're very similar.
Fair enough. Here we go. Here's the flag of Venezuela. Okay.
Yeah.
So they have stars. I mean, but then again, here's the flag of Colombia.
They don't put the stars on they're the same colors, same stripes. Thing. Yeah.
So yeah, guys, it's highlighting over. It says Colombia. Maybe he's Venezuelan. Maybe Zach fucked up here.
So it could be. Anyhow, the point being, it's just how thick the blue stripe is on the photo that makes the difference. Because when they use the flag of Colombia with the stars, then nobody puts the stars on it on this. The stars don't end up there. So like there are no stars in the American flag on that photo on this post. Well, yeah, there are, but there are 9 of them. Like if you look really close, I think there are stars on that American flag. That's
on the American flag, yeah.
But there are more than 9 states. All right.
Just because I want to take a look.
Let's just clear it up.
Pull up his thing. We'll go ahead and accept. Sure, why not? So Santiago was born in Tampa, Florida. He is Colombian American.
Okay. All right. So good to all the cocaine sniffers out there. Nope, just kidding. All right.
No more fuckery on our next duel net, guys. Come on.
Everybody was always looking for the Colombian cocaine back in the day, in the 80s and the 90s.
Yeah.
All right. Anyhow, that's beyond the point. So on we go to next post. Thank you, Zach. And that is Kaveh Zahiro Leslam. Played
It
his
is made
10th.
up.
Zahiro Leslam. It is not. He plays for St. Truden.
He does.
And he had his 10th match of the season. Here are stats from those 10 matches.
Hold on. What dual nats are we?
That looks like, is that India? No.
I want to
not
say
India.
Iran. I want to say Iran. Iran.
It's Iran. That's Iran.
Yeah.
Iran.
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 It is Iran.
As George Bush would say, that's the Iranian flag.
As the journalist that was talking to Tyler Adams.
Yeah.
I know you Americans like to say it's Iran. It's Iran. Oh, that's great, bro. Appreciate that.
I'm sorry. I'm just saying it phonetically. All right. Anyhow, so yeah, I don't think he's going to be playing for Iran or Iran anytime soon. But yeah, doing well, but not scoring a whole lot of goals. He's had some.
3, 2 assists.
He's doing okay. He's missed some opportunities because I've watched a lot of those games this season.
Not bad accuracy.
He's a good player. He's kind of Pepe-esque, if I could like compare him to another player we have, but just not as seasoned as Pepe is. Just not as seasoned. Give him some time. We'll see what happens. Yes, Former's right. It's orange at the bottom. And then it would be India. I thought it was orange at first. The closer I got, I'm like, no, that's not India. All right. So those are your Yanks. No, those are your transfer news. Dual net panic. Not worried about Kabe. Not worried about Kabe at all. Iran, says Kumar. Iran. Stop the German ban. Man, Larry's going nuts out there. I mean, I'd stop the Maloney ban for sure. I don't know if there is a ban, but doesn't seem like he's getting a lot of love.
And Dietz aren't getting called in. Maloney's not really getting called in. Brooks isn't getting called in.
Can I comment on that? Greuther Firth has sucked so far this season, and Dietz and Green have not been great. It's not last season all over again. It's not. Derek is not German. Fuck you, Larry.
Damian Downs, German. Nathaniel Brown haven't been called in, Derek.
Not yet.
They're so young players, guys.
Not ready.
They're super young.
Not ready.
And, I mean, not only that, but I mean, what Nathaniel Brown is still not contending by any means, but he still has an opportunity to potentially represent Germany, right?
No.
He's smidgen.
Nope. He's got no shot. I'm not worried about.
No,
I am not worried about Nathaniel Brown. I'm not worried about Downs. I'm not worried about any of these guys. They've got no fucking shot in hell of ever playing for Germany. They got one fucking opportunity. It's with us. That's why we are in no rush to call them up. Let them develop. Let them grow. There you go. There you go. Look, Colin Reese is back with more Casey Keller blabber. By the way, we never, ever, like, I know you're, Colin, you're taking the title of this show, not as a joke, because one of the things you lack is a sense of humor, because Brett made the title of the show, and it was a joke, right? It's not serious. We're not really saying that Casey Keller criticized Pulisic.
Well, no, we talked about ad nauseum whenever we discussed Keller's comment that he was referring to the culture that Poach is instilling on the team.
Yeah. Yep. It's a joke.
I don't know.
It's a joke. It's more of the fact that if you really thought that he needed to play that meaningless ass boring fucking game against fucking Mexico, which was a friendly, by the way, that we're all sick of watching at this point, especially at friendly stage. I'll watch the Gold Cup, like that's all right. Nations League, of course, that's more meaningful, but at this point, Gold Cup with mostly B-depth players, no big loss. I can live with it. I think Poach knows who Pulisic is, and this is a decision that Poach obviously made sitting down with AC Milan and with Pulisic, and I'm fine with it.
But Derek, I know we've already brought this up last show too, but Derek, Casey Keller talked to Tab Ramos, and Tab let him know that Luka Modric is 39. He plays every game for Croatia. And he goes, imagine a new manager coming in and saying, "Hey, Modric, you don't have to worry about playing. Don't worry about it, bro. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it."
But they played in Nations League, an actual meaningful tournament, I guess. To Infantino, it is.
And my take on the whole fact is also, I think Chris kills it here for me.
Yeah. Madrid to Dubrovnik, 2 hours. Milan to Guadalajara, 15 hours. Can't do a direct flight. Fuck this bullshit. I don't know if anybody's had to travel a lot in their lives. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. Like Messi's already talked about how exhausting MLS is for all the traveling and all the flights. So is Suarez. A lot of players come here and they're like, the one thing that's really different in MLS is the flights, like the 5-hour flights.
It's a big fucking country. I know, right?
It takes a lot out of you. You don't even know it physically. It's not because you're mentally weak. It's about just the physicality of being lifted into the air and traveling.
Driving 3 hours up to Michigan wears me down.
Yes, exactly. So
I mean, I couldn't fathom playing in Austin and flying. It wasn't Guadalajara by any means. Where was the game at? It was
what are we talking about?
Mexico game.
Guadalajara.
Was it in Guadalajara?
Was in Guadalajara.
Well, they didn't play that. Where'd they play at?
Guadalajara.
The stadium, dickhead stadium.
Hey, fuckwad. I don't know what the stadium is in Guadalajara.
There you go. Stop sounding like condescending dickhead.
I don't know what the stadium is named.
Come on.
I do not know.
Well, then when I say, hey, where do they play? You're like, Guadalajara.
I have no idea.
I can see the screen, Derek.
Brett, I have no idea you're looking for the stadium name. I thought you couldn't hear me.
I shouldn't hear you. I should mute you right now.
No, I just didn't think you could hear what I said. So I repeated myself.
Either way. Flying from Austin to Guadalajara.
It's a long way.
And playing at their altitude, and then flying back Wednesday, getting probably to Italy, recovering Thursday, and then expected to play 2 games immediately.
Yes.
It's just one of those things. It was a fucking courtesy.
It was a courtesy to him, Pulisic. It was a courtesy to AC Milan. And by the way, who fucking cares about that fucking game versus Mexico? It's absolutely meaningless. And he got to do what he wanted to do, Poach did. Test out depth. He was trying to figure out. It's like when you first go to college back in the 90s. What did they try to do? They gave you the biology classes and all the classes, the 100 classes those are all meant to figure out who can survive. They're all about failing you out of college. That's what all those classes, they're testing you. Now, they don't do that anymore. Every class is a fluff class now. They don't care about weeding out the weak. Now it's like, we just want your fucking money. But back then, they were trying to weed out the weak. And at this point, that's what Poach did and got an opportunity to do with the depth. And he figured out who the weak people were. All of them, for the most part, fell under that unfortunate weak category.
Shit performance as a whole. We've talked about that, so
I'm
not going to dive back into that.
We're going to have to.
I want to push that so far away from me, Derek. No, take me back. No,
we're talking about depth, Brett. That's part of the show tonight. So I hope you're ready to dive into it, because
we're going to get into the national team. Don't worry, but I have a little bit of national team fluff here.
Okay.
We so made fun of Berhalter and his. You remember them African dogs?
Mm-hmm.
We're the African dogs.
Mm-hmm.
You know that whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
It could have been worse. It could have been worse, Derek. You have no idea how badly it could have been worse.
How so?
Well, we'll find out here. Apparently,
4 years ago,
motherfucker.
So in the build
There you
up to the Japan game, Hansi Flick not only talked to his selection of international class footballers about geese, but he showed them video of geese. And I'm not an international class footballer, but if someone showed
Remember
me
the
videos of geese,
geese.
I'd be
We
like,
were geese.
what are you doing?
We're the
what have the
geese,
geese got to
Derek.
do with anything?
He showed them beautiful footage of geese to show that on their own they are meek, but together they are stronger.
I get the metaphor. The fact that a football manager would think that the players would appreciate that metaphor.
First
4
off-
years ago, Bayern Munich.
Go away. First off, it's not geese together strong. It's apes together strong. Second off, the reference is the Mighty Ducks. The Mighty Ducks are, hey, if you ever see a duck by itself, he's pathetic, he's sad. But ducks together, fly together, That's what he's referring to.
First of all, that's all bullshit.
Rod just made a duck reference.
It's all bullshit. A solo duck is pretty happy. So is a solo goose. And I mean, I've seen solo gooses. Look geese.
Solo gooses.
A solo goose. They look fine to me. They don't seem to have that big of a problem. And then, they hook up with the group and then they're good too. I just think this whole metaphor using animals thing is so fucking stupid and so played out and so fucking unoriginal. You're going to show your players a fucking video of geese flying together.
Look how majestic they are, Derek. We can be majestic too.
There's a word for that I can't say anymore, but boy, it is overly happy. Let me just say that. Overly.
It is super happy. Super.
Way too jocular. Way too jocular. Way too much jocularity going on there.
You are the most jovial person in the world.
Jovial, jocular, you name it. That's crap, dude. Like you're obviously not a poet, or maybe you think you're a poet and you don't know it. But I gotta say, playing that to a team is embarrassing. Just like hearkening the African dogs is embarrassing.
I would rather be an African dog than I would be a goose. I'm just gonna flat out say right now.
Don't take me to Gettysburg so you can metaphorically use the coming together of men to fight a battle as a metaphor for what we're about to do as a soccer team, because fuck you. Those guys got shot in the fucking skull, in the stomach, in the legs, and they fucking died on the battlefield. How dare you use that as a metaphor, Greg Berhalter, for your team, dude? How moronic do you have to be?
Not only that, but it is a straight steal from Remember the Titans. I feel like he just sat at home one day and watched Remember the Titans, goes, oh, next time we're in the neck of the woods, I'm so going to do this. Guys, we're going to go for a 3-mile run. Let's go.
Listen, if I were a coach, you know what I would use for metaphors? Porn. That's what I would use.
If you don't go out and play for me, you're going to get fucked.
Look at this chick. She endured 2 hours with 15 guys.
Yeah.
Look at the
endurance.
Look at the endurance. The
do you have the endurance to take on 15 guys?
The flexibility, the ability to deal with, I'm sure, what would surely be pain after the first hour. Just enduring through all kinds of physical things, that different positions, switching positions, fucking understanding tactically what the director was going for. Being able to swallow, defeat, and in the end, at the very end,
just like how she swallowed that, you must also swallow your pride when you miss your opportunity in front of goal.
Like I said, being able to play in different positions. A whole scoring thing. Lots of people are scoring. You got to get used to that.
You need to be good inside the box, that type of thing,
Inside the box.
We've talked about that before.
Totally understand. I think there's if I'm going to do that.
More metaphors. Why? Wait, that's a good point.
There's better.
Guys, clip this and send it to Poach, please.
Because I just think players generally, if they're not fucking someone, are probably watching porn anyhow. They're going to have a much better understanding of your metaphor than showing a bunch of fucking geese flying in the fucking air.
Yeah.
All right. Anyhow, Lamar Reynolds for $3. US needs to leave CONCACAF and join CONMEBOL. Never happened. It's not going to happen. would be nice to play better teams for sure.
We definitely be having to deal with the fact that there are going to be windows where we may not necessarily qualify. We'd have to come to the acceptance of that.
CONCACAF, if the U.S. left CONCACAF would go out into an alley and shoot itself in the head because it knew it would know it was
our
done.
money revenue's gone.
It's done.
It's gone, guys.
It's done. Yep.
All hope is lost.
I mean, Oceania should have done that when Austria left for Asia. They should have just said New Zealand should have walked out with Samoa and American Samoa and all those fucking islands. They should, listen, guys, let's all just shoot ourselves in the head. The party's over. Now, it's not going to be much longer before New Zealand. No, so New Zealand will never leave Oceania because they're pretty much guaranteed a World Cup spot from here into infinity. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So they're not going to leave it. Who's going to beat them? American Samoa? What, some fucking tiny little island out there in the Pacific? Fuck no. They're going to be qualified for every single World Cup until the end of time, as long as Infantino's vision for this kind of World Cup continues, which it will, because once you put something in that's bigger, it rarely gets reduced. Like, never has a World Cup gone, you know what, 32 teams is not too much. Let's go back to 24. Never going to happen. So now that we're at 48, they're going to go, 48 is kind of ridiculous. Let's just go back to 32. No, not going to happen. Once you do that, it's over. So
it's any social benefit. Once you offer somebody a social benefit, you'll never be able to take it away.
Okay, don't get too political. But yeah, people don't like shit.
But A and B, it's a good comparison.
Well, people don't like having shit given to them and then having it taken away. No, that is totally true. But yeah, I mean,
name for that, right?
But it's not totally true because in Argentina, they're doing that right now, I believe. The new president. He's taking a bunch of shit away that everybody's had, and we'll see how it works out. But yeah, people don't like shit that they've been given for a long time being taken away. So that's true. That is a fact, regardless. All right, what else we got?
Oh, where are we at? Hold on.
I saw Yanks Abroad midweek, by the way. So when do you want to squeeze?
Let's do that now.
All right. So on Tuesday, Balogun's injured, didn't play. Pulisic went 90 in that win for AC Milan. And scored the goal. Musa went 15. McKennie got 55. That's not bad. It wasn't great. Got pulled at 55. Still looks like there's some fitness issues there. Wea got 45. Nothing to really talk about there. I wouldn't break out the loop for those performances. Arnie Chase, by the way, they played in that game. Henri Chase, he came in extra time. Tillman, 90 minutes. I kind of iffy in some cases for Tillman there in that tie. Pepe
just leads into the U.S. men's national team talk, right?
Yeah. Pepe in the 18, Ledesma in the 18, neither played. Cole Campbell was in the 18 for Dortmund, didn't play. Horvath in the 18, as usual. He Horvathed and rode Pine for 90. Aronson, 90 minutes and a goal. A good goal for Leeds. Being in the right place at the right time. I think he's won the Leeds fans back over again.
I would expect so, yeah.
Yes, did he play horrible for us versus Mexico? Was it the worst Aronson performance ever? It was. It was atrocious. It was terrible. But he went back to Leeds and he picked up where he left off. He's a regular starter for them. He's going to continue to be and a contributor.
As I mentioned in somebody else's X feed, everybody in that U.S.-Mexico game before the subs came on was an F for me.
So here's the thing, though, Brett, and we'll get into this later more, but here's the thing. Okay, a lot of players played shitty against Mexico. You can put that all on the players, but you also have to put a good chunk of it on to, even if it's early, on Poach.
Yeah.
Because Poach, but at the same time realizing and adding the context in that Poach has had very little time. He's in 5 minutes with these guys.
Mhm.
Okay. So them having a horrible team performance where every player plays horrible is usually on management. But in this case, you got to give the management a fucking break. They've been there for 5 minutes. Give them a fucking break. So they played horrible. The players sucked. The coach, whenever the whole team sucks, it's usually on the management and the setup and how. And in this case, the setup and the management was 5 minutes long. So not a lot to develop on there. So let's not say Aronson played a horrible game. He should never play the U.S. men's national team again. I don't buy that. Sargent should never play for the U.S. men's national team again. Not buying it. It looked like they were all kind of confused and didn't know where to be and were sort of discombobulated because it's a new manager.
As I said before, it's one of those situations where you're looking at our overall depth, and we're going to get into our depth here in a bit, I guess. You're looking at our overall depth, and you're looking at these players going like, if you sprinkle a player 2 or 3 into our A team, it'll be fine. There won't be much of a drop off. They'll still perform. But if you have an entire reserve team, backup of backups, all playing together at the same time, and no real A team presence, it's not going to be great.
Outside of Jedi?
Yeah, outside of Jedi, you're right, yes.
Who might have been the only player that
And
didn't.
Turner, I guess. Let's throw Turner in there because, I mean, what's going to happen? Our 18 goalkeeper.
But, Jedi was the only player who didn't, totally suck ass in that game. Everybody sucked ass. And when everybody's sucking ass, tossing salad, that usually is not on just the players. It was a setup. It was I don't think you play that same setup against Mexico. I don't think a three in the back is the smart move against Mexico. But okay, who am I to say that? I'm just saying they looked completely clueless of what to do out there.
I just think if the overall game plan was to come out and win at that point at halftime, Busio or Morris would have got subbed out and Tessman would have got brought in earlier because our midfield was just getting overrun and Tessman's a bigger specimen.
So that's what happens when you play 5 in the back. You basically have 2 midfielders and 2 wingers. Your midfield's going to get totally dominated and overflown. And that's what happened, overflowed. And it's just, so there was a lot wrong going on there. But to say Sargent should never play for the team again, Tillman is garbage. Fucking Aronson, is a complete junk player. No. Put them in a better situation and a better setup. They'll play better. Let them get accustomed to Poach and his way he wants to set up. Although I didn't like the way he set up against Mexico. Didn't like it. So just don't make rash judgments based on one game. If you then go and watch Aronson play at Leeds and he scores the goal, then you're like, wow, Aronson's still Aronson. Sargent gets a ghost assist, which we'll take.
That was a phenomenal assist. What are you talking about, Derek? He made it. It was so effortlessly provided. I'm surprised the goal scorer was managed to score because he was shocked. He's like, the ball, Sargent just laced that ball perfectly to me. How did you do it?
It just bounced off of him. But all right, he'll take it. But that's not to say that Sargent hasn't. That's not to say that Sargent hasn't played well for Norwich this season. He has. He's been the core of that team, and he'll remain to be the core and heart and soul of that team.
As much of a homer as I am, I'm honestly surprised that was given to him as an assist.
I was too. I was shocked.
Really, that's an assist? I mean,
accidentally having a ball bounced off of you. I guess so.
I guess.
Yeah, and then. We had a Dwayne Holmes versus Josh Sargent lineup. Dwayne Holmes actually played 77 minutes for Preston North End and scored against Sargent, who got that accidental assist in that tie. Then Haji Wright got the early goal for Coventry in a tie. He went 84. Mateus Albert went 46 for Dortmund's U19s in a win. So I thought I mentioned that. And then let's see. Emmanuel, what the hell? I can't read my own handwriting. Emmanuel, he was a Minnesota United kid. Emmanuel Iwe, I-W-E. He's a 24-year-old. Got 3 goals. Oh no, he has 3 goals in 11 games. He had a goal for Sandhausen in 3 Bundesliga. He played 65 minutes. But a product of MLS and Minnesota United. Then we got Kate Cowell, went 45 and a goal and a win for Chivas. Fernando Arce went 22 for Necaxa in that game. Frankie Amaya, 20 minutes for Toluca in a win. Ventura Alvarado in the 18 for Mazatlan in, I think, a loss, but doesn't really matter. He didn't play. And then some MLS guys, Lennon, a goal for Atlanta. Then back to Trusty for Celtic, 90 minutes and a tie. Aiden Mornis, 90 minutes and a win for Middlesbrough. Down in 3 Bundesliga, you had Male Corbos, went 90, and Isaiah Young, 58 minutes for Arminia Bielefeld, who are currently second and in the auto promotion zone in 3 Bundesliga. So 2 Americans there. Corbos got an assist. And then Brian Ko, who, is one of those, Brian Ko was one of those players a lot of us thought, wow, this player is going to be good. But he's down in 3 Bundesliga now. He got 74 for Osnabrück in a tie. Osnabrück is currently the worst team in the league. They are 20th out of 20 teams. He is 22 years old. He is a DC United product and just not turning out like a lot. Remember, he was at Wolfsburg earlier. Then he went to Victoria Berlin. He went to Nuremberg. Then he went to Ingolstadt. Now he's at Osnabrück. 5 teams in 4 years. This guy's being flipped like pancakes.
It's always why it's tough to predict
young players.
And when you start coming out with the Wunderkids, he's a Wunderkid. It's like, all right, let's pull it back a little bit, guys.
Give him time because he might not be.
He may be very talented right now, but let's see what happens in 3 years when he's, an actual adult playing against adults.
I mean, he played for all our youth teams, everybody, Pete included, juicing this guy. Mm-hmm. And we don't juice anybody on this show, by the way. So if you're expecting us to juice a young player here, we don't do that. We don't do milking, and we don't do that kind of weird stuff. Not that I think Pete's learned his lesson too, but I do think that, totally hyping up a young player is bad. It's unadvisable. Let me put it that way. It's just bad. Too many of them don't work out. And that goes for Kevin Sullivan too. Like, stop pumping that guy up. I'm watching him on national commercials now on TV. And it's like, really? Holy shit. That's so Freddie Adu to me in my mind. Yeah. Watching him in national commercials on television now. And I'm like, are we really doing this to a 15-year-old kid? Holy crap. What if this doesn't work out? I guess he's making money, though.
Making his money. That's all that matters at that point, I guess.
And then today, Timmy Chandler was in the 18 for Frankfurt, didn't play. Brian White in MLS had a goal for Vancouver, played 64, including Fafa Bakal, went 76 and assist. He's no longer U.S. eligible because he played for Haiti now. But he is the only player that's ever stood us up for an interview.
Yeah.
Taylor, and that was back to 2014, 2012. Taylor Testament went 65 for Lyon. Pretty good game for him. I thought he missed a couple opportunities. I got to watch that today live. That was great. And then, or Lyon, as they kept saying, Lyon. The British guy kept saying Lyon. I'm like, Lyon? Or is it Lyon? Somebody who knows French, please tell me. Is it Lyon or is it Lyon? because he kept saying Leon the whole time. It sounded like Lil almost. I'm like, no, Leon? I don't know. Anyhow, you guys do Glaze Testament something? Yeah.
You're jumping into the conversation like way into the conversation as far as that's concerned. So don't worry about that.
Okay. George Bello went 90 in a loss for Lask today. Leonard Maloney came in for the last 23 to just secure the win. A lot of non-starters starting for Heidenheim in that game. Johnny Cardoso went 81 minutes in a tie. Youth League. So when a lot of these big games happen, the big teams playing the other big teams, they bring their youth U19s with them, and they end up playing against each other. And in this case, Jacase Fields went 3 minutes for Hoffenheim's U19s. He's 17 years old. They did win the game. Pedro Soma for Barcelona's U19s went 77 minutes in a win versus Bayern. And he's only 18 years old. And then Keller Figueroa, 20 years old. He went 20, for Liverpool in a loss to Leipzig. And then he was playing against another American at Leipzig in that game, in that loss by Liverpool, the winners being Leipzig. And it was Din Klapija, who plays center attacking midfielder for Leipzig's U19s. He went 63 minutes in that win. He is a New York City FC product. He's only 17, but he does have a European passport. So he went early over to Leipzig. Unlike Caden Clark, who, by the way, I want to give props to Caden Clark. His performance so far for Montreal this season in MLS has been spectacular. So there's a fire lit underneath that guy's ass right now. He's scoring goals, getting assists. Let's hope that means something. But the real Caden Clark is currently at Leipzig. His name is Din. Huh?
Said the real Caden Clark, and I said he is standing up.
I don't know what that means, but okay. He's got a boner.
Please stand up.
Okay.
Please stand up.
But the real Caden Clark is actually in Leipzig right now playing for the U19s, and he is only 17 years old. He starts for them at center attacking midfielder. His name is Din, D-I-N, Klapija, K-L-A-P-I-J-A. It might be pronounced different.
I appreciate the fact that you decided to pronounce that and not give it to me.
Klapija. Like, it sounds like a venereal disease.
Klapija.
I had a bad case of the Klapija the other night after that Heather chick came over, and we did it all night. And then I noticed there were some bubbles on her lips, like some weird shit. And then I woke up in the morning, I got some Klapija on my penis. And I went to the doctor. He says, no worries. We'll shoot you up with some drugs, and the Klapija will go away. All right, so...
Greg Turholer says, crap pizza?
Klapija with an L. Crap
pizza.
Klapija. Anyhow, then Alex Mendez went he was in the 18 for Juarez. Again,
we know where Antonio Banderas is at in the show.
How to shave your vagina. Alex Mendez was in the 18 for Juarez, did not play. Brian Vasquez in the 18 for Monterrey, did not play. Then we had the head-to-head between America and Tijuana with Alex Zendejas going 90 minutes and scoring a goal in a tie versus Joe Corona's Tijuana, who went 30 minutes. Yes, that Joe Corona. Joe Corona.
I don't know, man. I keep seeing Zendejas performing for America, and I see him play for the U.S., and I'm just like, is it that big of an increase in quality as far as who he's playing against?
It isn't. He just tries too hard.
I mean,
now he played fine when he came in last time, right?
He was the difference maker. I'll give him that much. Although I stated the way I described his game against Mexico is he brought heart.
Yeah. But at the Gold Cup, he was like, I got to do everything on my own.
I am I'm the man. I'm Pulisic this
He
window.
played hero ball. We've always said this here. Hero ball is bullshit. Don't try to do it. Like, that's the one thing Pulisic has learned now with U.S. men's national team. Don't play hero ball. Play the correct pass. Do the right combos. You don't have to play hero ball. There are enough players around you when they're healthy. Adams, Kenny, blah, 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 blah. That you don't need to play hero ball. And Zendejas in that Gold Cup was like, I am going to be the fucking hero of this Gold Cup. No, you weren't, because you tried to dribble through fucking 4 players, and that's not happening. So he's hopefully learned his lesson because he plays so much better for America than he plays for the United States. You know, Caden Clark, yes, Johnny, Caden Clark has been playing very well for Montreal this season. Very well. I don't know what that means.
Montreal happens to be like the location for disregarded, like promising talents. I mean, Mihailovic went from Chicago where he was, but that's also Chicago's fault because he went to Montreal and all of a sudden he was a standout there.
He's played pretty well for Colorado this season, though.
Well, true. I'm saying Montreal was the resurgence location. If you want to redevelop your career in MLS, go to Montreal. It seems like to be your place.
Yeah, but in Holland, when he went there, he was a total cuck. He did nothing. He just sat back and just did the minimal. And I get he had his family issues and all that other shit, but man, this is your opportunity. Go out there and kick some people in the nutsack. Don't just be a bitch. Don't go over there and be a bitch. That's what he was.
Well, I mean, the end result could have been the same. He made his move back because of family issues. Understandable, but during those 30 some odd games he was at AZ, make yourself known.
So, Johnny, Larry, Johnny, whatever you want to call yourself these days, I don't know what your problem is. Yes, we talked about Caden Clark, and the reason I am giving Caden Clark some credit is because we destroyed him on this show. Okay? Yeah. I basically said he has no chance of ever playing for the U.S. men's national team ever again, and I still believe it.
It's still
now.
Derek.
It still holds true to today. I do not think he ever will, but I do have to give him credit because his career was in the fucking shitter, and he pulled himself out of that fucking shitter, out of the colon of what was a horrible trajectory, a horrible shithole, and he made something good happen at Montreal. So I just want to give him credit.
We're sitting here trying to, make a statement for Diego Luna, who has 8 goals and 12 plus assists.
Oh, he's playing great,
and he can't get a fucking sniff apparently from the national team.
No.
So I mean, we're again, just because you're giving Clark props doesn't mean you're saying, oh, he needs to get called in. We need to cap him. Let's go, guys.
You ever get the feeling that Larry's a little anti-Hispanic? Just wondering. Because he always seems to bust on all the Hispanic players. Anyhow, not anti-Hispanic, but I just don't think you support them very much. So, Johnny, I don't want to accuse you of that, but it's just you bust on all the Mexican sort of players. I don't know. It's just weird. You don't support any of them. Name me one you support.
They all suck. No, he says they all suck.
Mexicans are the shitty. Okay. All right. Okay. So I wasn't wrong because I was just wondering, can I remember Larry ever saying a positive word about a Hispanic player? And I couldn't remember it. I really couldn't. So. Okay. So there we go. At least we got that out of the way, and he said it's true. It's true.
God damn, Antonio, man, you are about
way
a
behind.
Hour and 20 minutes behind this point. Oh my goodness!
All right, we get into depth because we got
we'll go through our topics here. We got sidetracked here. So
topics with an S?
No, well, I mean it's all the same topic. It's all depth. It's all national team depth topic.
I'm how long we going out this tonight?
Well, who knows? Captain Pulisic quoted saying that Weah says you just need to trust the process, guys. And for those who haven't seen the actual quote, here's the actual quote.
with the World Cup being at home, the stakes are going to. Who's saying this? Tim Ware? All right. I'm going to try to get his voice in that mosquito biting thing. With this World Cup being at home, man, the stakes are going to be super high. The fans just kind of have to just relax and just bear with us. Turkey sucks, by the way. Let us work.
You had to bring that back up.
I did.
I can't wait for the turkeys to go on sale, man. I got a second deep freeze that I'm just gonna fucking turkey the fuck out.
Nobody cares about your turkey, Brett.
Oh, everybody cares about turkey, Derek. Everybody.
All right, let us work. Let us build that hunger, but not for turkey. Let us gel together as a team again. Whatever. Come on.
Build that hunger. That hunger should always be there.
Fucking A, dude. That hunger should be just like ingrained. Like, you don't need to build that shit. Every time you show up to play for the national team, you should be like thirsty as fuck. Your shit should be saliva just fucking running down your mouth. Like, I'm going to fucking kick ass. I don't know. I don't really understand this whole building up. Maybe Berhalter built like this lackadaisical, like, let's have a good party and roast marshmallows together thing. I can't believe that's how we are. Like, Camp Cupcake is supposed to be for MLS players. That's not how we should be approaching the big boy fucking friendlies and the big boy tournaments. Like, it shouldn't be like that. Yes, should you all get along, have a good time? Yes, but in the end, it's down to fucking the brass taxes business. Get the job fucking done. That's number one. And I'm fucking Eric Winall will tell you, those guys loved each other. They had a great time. But when the goddamn bell rang, they were like Pavlov's dogs. They were ready to fucking eat W's. They were ready to go out and win the game and compete against players that were way better than them. Technically and on paper. They fucking put their heart and soul. If you're not heart and soul is not into this shit, then get the fuck off the team. That's going to be Poach's fucking job, is to figure out who's not really that fucking, who's treating this like it's a sort of vacation from their club team, right? Like, whoever's doing that needs to be off the fucking team. All right?
Yeah.
Bang. Done. End of story. That's going to be his job, because apparently Berhalter just like thought everybody was naturally bought in and this is this great team thing, and we all circle jerk together on a regular basis, spatter jizz all over one each other's chest hair. You know, like, that time is over.
10 o'clock workout is going to be a giant circle jerk at the 50-yard line.
Yeah, I mean, that time, that time is over, honestly. Derek looks like he enjoyed a good slide tackle. Oh, did I ever? Yes.
Oh, yeah, that aspect of the game is wonderful.
After my freshman year, which is the picture we did show that one time of me playing, I was skinny.
This one right here?
Yeah, I was so skinny, dude. I was a twig. I was a total twig. And keep in mind, I was 14, 15, barely 15 years old, because I was a 15-year-old. No, I was a 14-year-old freshman. Okay?
I was a 165, 6'2" player, but I didn't play like a string bean, because I grew up as a defender, playing very, very very physical. So
I didn't hit.
I loved getting in on physical tackle.
I didn't get a growth spurt until I was 15.
Yeah.
So that was my sophomore year. I graduated from high school. I was 17 fucking years old. So I kind of got robbed out of an extra year of high school, frankly.
Yeah. Greg asks, CB, Brett. Absolutely. I played, generally speaking, I played left or right in a three center back setup, basically.
Until your senior and junior years, you were a center forward.
No, I played defense up until maybe about 6th or 7th grade. So I'm talking
about high school, when you were one of the leading scorers in Indiana.
No. I played in high school. I played defense and midfield my freshman, sophomore year, and then junior, senior year, I led the state, actually.
Yes, you led the state in scoring. Don't be fucking humble. All right.
I'm an okay striker if I put my mind.
You were
to
the
it.
best striker in the fucking state, and yet you got recruited not by a whole lot of soccer places, which is fucked up to me.
Earlham University was the only
I remember
one.
that. Yeah.
Berlin, America was the only one who knows where Earlham is. Or maybe
So-
you do. Maybe you do. I don't know.
I know where it is. But, the crazy thing is, back in my day and your day, like soccer recruiting was just like not a thing. Like college soccer teams did not go out and recruit like IU did, but they knew IU knew you weren't IU material. But shouldn't have somebody else have gone, Dartmouth or Yale or somebody gone?
PUI, the very minimum.
Yeah, you would think, but nobody was doing soccer recruiting until like the 90s, the late to mid 90s. That's it. That's when that started. So you got fucked, Brett, out of a fucking college scholarship, frankly.
I laid the foundations for the future, to have a future in soccer.
Well, I got fucked too. I got fucked.
Too, yeah.
I played in the state championship. I was one of the best midfielders in the state. I got nothing. I got nothing,
dude.
Absolutely zero.
I got screwed. My both old districts I played in. I got all state honorable mentions. I got all state my senior year. But my the district, when we played district divisions for all state, both times I got coached. Our district got coached by my rival coach, which royally fucked me. Instead of playing me as a striker, I got played out wide.
Oh,
and I'm just like, you fucker.
Playing a 6'2" dude.
I completely
out wide.
owned your team all fucking season. You're playing me out wide, you bitch.
Yeah. The only thing where I didn't get fucked is I was a pitcher and I actually made it to the finals as the pitcher for the Kentucky State Little League World Series. Like if we would have won that game, we would have played in Little League World Series. I pitched like a totally perfect game for 5 innings. And then they put in what's his face, Patrick Leahy or whatever his name is. And he gave up 7 runs in 1 inning and we lost 7-5. I mean, come on. Fucking ridiculous. All right. Anyhow, because I had inning limitations. Limitations. You could only pitch so many innings in the tournament.
You blew your load too early, right?
They used me as much as they could the whole tournament. I was a great pitcher. That's the first time I've ever talked about baseball, but I was a great baseball player too, or a very good one.
I knew you played tennis and soccer, and you had to give up tennis for soccer.
I was an overall jock, dude. I played so many sports. It's ridiculous. But baseball, pitching, I was good at pitching. Anyhow, that didn't work out for me. Probably should have stuck to that. It's probably the best sport I was good at, actually. I was better than everybody else at pitching. All right, so where were we at?
When Way is talking about the hunger, hey guys, wait till we develop our hunger. It'll be great. I wrote, as a Chicago Fire fan, I'm not sure I have any more trust the process.
Fuck that. Yeah, fuck the process.
That's all Chicago's been saying for the last decade and a half. Oh, no, trust the process. It's got to come through. We're going to be successful in 2 years. Give us 2 years. Trust the process. I trusted the process. Where does that lead me? To Berhalter, apparently.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
I go, you don't have to build hunger. That hunger should be in you regardless. Gelling as a team, I get as it's a different coach and a process, though similar, but shouldn't take all that long since you've had 5+ years to do so. I was fine with the Panama match. The messiness was understandable with the new process, but we saw what the overall game plan was. The Mexico match was abysmal. No energy, no heart. We move on to November. I'm expecting more progress and likely more messiness, but the hunger should always be.
Yeah, that shouldn't even be a question.
It is dumb to say, well, as we build our hunger, you come into the fucking camp with that hunger. Like, oh, we're going to take that pitch. We're going to win regardless of what it takes.
Like, all right. Again, porn reference.
Hey.
Dude, if you're a healthy man and you like women and you've done your homework and you go to work and the woman gets undressed and she plays with your penis, that penis should be hard. Like, it shouldn't be if she's a pretty woman, this should not be a difficulty. Like, that's your fucking job. Get
Bring
hard.
in the fluffer, please. Bring in the fluffer.
Get hard for the game. How hard is that? Get fucking ready for the game. It's your fucking job. This should be natural. You're not taking drugs. You're not drinking. You're not partying until 3 a.m. You show up for the job. They tell you, here's the hot bitch you're going to fuck for this porn. You're like, my dick's hard. Let's go. Like, that's how it should be. When you get to the U.S. men's national team, you should be ready to plug and play. Your heart and your gut should already be in that shit. There shouldn't be any question. Sorry. Fecal was better than Bessler.
Johnny's showing you asked for him to say something nice about a Mexican player.
Okay, Fecal was better than Beasler. By the way, we always said Bessler because, by the way, Besler in German is pronounced Bessler, not Beasler. He added that in there probably because
American.
There was an I in there at some point. It was probably Biesler. So he kept pronouncing it Beasler. It's not. In Germany, somebody with the name Besler is pronounced Bessler, but he can pronounce it any way he wants. It's bullshit. It's not phonetically correct, and it's not even correct in German or English. So there you go. All right. Jose Reyes for $10. Thank you, brother. I came from Campbell, Ohio, and was a player coach my senior year. I took a team who never played soccer before to the playoffs. We lost, but we lost to a ranked team in PKs. Went to college and got hurt. Yes, Brett and I were both hurt, actually, after high school soccer. I'm not sure how much worse you were than I was.
I took about 10 years before I blew my knee out.
Okay, so I blew my knee out in high school my senior year. So I still recovered enough to play tennis, but it wasn't great. I was not as mobile as I used to be. I had to wear this thing on my knee. So yeah, it sucked.
You also recovered to play pocket pool from time to time?
You don't need a knee for that, brother. You don't need a knee for that.
Thanks, Jose, for that. Yeah, I feel for you. Taking a team that's generally weaker side. I think my brother was a freshman, the new coach at the time, who oddly enough I work with at my school, and he coached me a couple years. But he took a rural town and made them get to a point where we were, 4 Peters at semi-state, all within a 4-year period. So yeah, sometimes it just takes time to get that change to occur, a little bit by a little bit.
Yeah, no, and Broken First is right. Seems like tennis will blow your knees out quicker than soccer. I would only say there's no contact in tennis. So not really, no. Like, it was the contact that blew my knees out, like odd tackles. In fact, it was a tackle that put my knee in a really weird, like, bendy situation it shouldn't have been in and fucked my knee up. So, but I got over it. It was a minor tear, but I still live with it today because I've never had surgery on it. So occasionally it will still bark, and I'll like take a step and I'm like, damn, there you are again. Fucking God damn it. 30 years later, you motherfucker. Anyhow, Matt says, well, through the lens of the U.S. men's national team, Sargent definitely sucks. Okay. We talked about this earlier. It's irrelevant what he's doing in the second division in England. I don't think it's irrelevant. He hasn't performed well for the U.S. men's national team. If you never perform, you shouldn't continue to be called up. He hasn't been really called up that many times. Like, I think we're confusing that.
He keeps getting injured, but yeah. No, I won't. I don't want to dive into his how when he got called up or when he hasn't been called up, because we talked about that.
We talk about it so much.
I want to talk about this concept of he definitely sucks. He hasn't performed well for the U.S. men's national team. And I had a civil conversation with Matt and a number of people with this, but I think that whole narrative is bullshit, quite frankly.
I do too.
I will flat out agree wholeheartedly with everybody that his lack of goal scoring is an issue
for the U.S. men's national team.
For the U.S. men's national team. The fact that he hasn't scored in 5 years, yes. I mean, taking away from the fact that he didn't play for the U.S. men's national team for 2.5 of those 5 years. But regardless, there is still a large gap of him not scoring, and that sucks as a striker. It fucks with your mentality, and it definitely affects the fan base too. But to sit here and act as if goal scoring is the sole requirement of a striker is what gets me.
Yeah.
And yes, it's a big factor, but it also depends on how the team plays, what formation, what tactics,
how they set up.
Alter ball, it was never about the striker scoring goals. It was never. It doesn't matter who played. Yes, Pepe went in there and scored goals. Ferrer went in there, maybe scored a goal or two.
Against island nations.
It happened, yeah. But Berhalter ball was strictly built for our wingers, our Pulisics and our Weahs.
Yes.
And our midfield chimed in from time to time. But for the most part, what was being asked of our nines during that time period was to check back deep, hold up the play, bring in the entire team into the attack, play it off to them, and create chances. Less opportunities to be in the actual box unless you didn't do what Berhalter was requiring you to do. And it was no surprise, Pepe, for all of his people who want to sit there and crap on Pepe, he capitalizes on his opportunities. I'm not taking anything away from Pepe whatsoever, but he didn't play the way that Berhalter wants to play. And quite frankly, you saw that when Berhalter had the opportunity to bring Sargent back in, he brought Sargent in. And not only that, but didn't include Pepe in the World Cup. And I'm not saying that was the right decision. I don't think that was the right decision. But Pepe didn't play the way that Berhalter wanted his nines to play. And quite frankly, we saw that with Balogun as well. He even flat out stated, he goes, we got to figure out how to utilize Balogun.
Yes, he didn't know how. And
because he doesn't fit the mold.
All these people spraying Balogun jizz all over the wall. Listen, it's just going to depend. Like comparing Balogun and Sargent or to Pepe is ridiculous. They're totally different fucking players. Pepe is okay at holding up the ball, but he's really good in the box and finishing. Sargent is exceptional at holding up the ball, typically for Norwich. Didn't get many touches, though. Didn't get many touches. Look at that game versus Mexico. How many times did he fucking touch the ball?
I think it was like 12 or something.
It was ridiculously low. So, you're expecting something for a guy who touched the ball barely over 10 times in a game? What are you expecting? We played defense the whole game. Game, we played defense. So, make a judgment if you want, but I still think the top three are Balogun, Pepe, and Sargent. Who else you throwing in there?
Nothing's changed on that front. Now, you can make the argument that said, hey, Sargent didn't score at his opportunity was given, but Pepe scored on his opportunity was given. So maybe in Poach's eyes, you can make the argument, and even fans' eyes, you can make the argument that maybe Pepe is ahead of Sargent in that sense. I will say that Sargent is a more well-rounded striker than anybody in our pool. Yeah. And I'm not saying he's the best. I'm saying he's the most well-rounded striker in our pool, which means he can hold up the play, he can distribute, he can get in the box, he can run between the lines, he can do a lot of stuff. Now, Balogun runs between the lines better, and he finishes better. I will say Pepe finds those spots in the box where he needs to be better. But neither of those players hold up the ball as well as Sargent. They don't incorporate the team as well as Sargent. So it depends on what you're requiring your nine to do.
So I see comments. PFOC's doing diddly poo right now with Union Berlin. If PFOC could string together a few goals in the next 4 or 5 weeks, he would seriously be considered by Poach. Everybody would consider him. He's not even a starter now for Union Berlin. That's the problem. He got benched. And then Haji. All right, so he got to play center forward for Coventry. He did score this week, and that's great. But usually he plays left winger. He's not even a regular center forward. This is the first time I've seen him start at center forward in forever. So we got to see how that works out and how that translates to the U.S. men's national team. We do have options, but I think this whole thing, my only point is this, Brett, saying, like, we got people saying Balogun sucks. No, Balogun does not suck. He's going through a rough time. It'll be fine. He was getting better right before the injury. Let's give it some time. There are people saying that fucking Pepe sucks. It's like Pepe's fine. He gets limited minutes at PSV. That sucks. But when he's there, he contributes. And he contributes for the U.S. men's national team. Sargent certainly contributing for Norwich. That's on Poach to figure out how to translate what he's doing at Norwich to the U.S. men's national team. That's not on Sarge generally. And it's not like Sarge goes out there and just completely collapses. He got no service against Mexico. No balls. Now, in the game before that, did he miss a sitter? Yeah, he did. That shit happens. Has he missed some sitters with Norwich this season? Yes. I hope that's not a trend. And if it is, we will call his ass out on this show, as we did when he was fucking shit up with Norwich before. We called him out, me specifically, probably more than you, saying, hey, grow a pair of fucking balls, be a man, demand the ball, take some fucking responsibility for your fucking career. And then he had a baby and he came back and boom, he changed as a player. Now he demands the ball at Norwich. He demands it. He calls out players when they don't pass it to him. He didn't used to do any of that shit. Now he does. And everybody on the team has all come out. You can read the quotes from the Norwich local paper or whatever you want to go read. It's all out there. They know he's the man. They say it. Like, well, you
have analysts that not necessarily pundits, but you have analysts who follow the league, who do YouTube stuff and various shows and whatnot, that come out and flat out say that they haven't seen a striker in the championship that plays that role better than Sargent, where he makes his whole team better.
There were bids for Sargent from Premier League teams over the break. The amount that Norwich were asking for him was so ridiculous that no one was going to pay it. But I'm just saying, there were teams interested in Sargent from the Premier League. Listen, I'm not saying that Sargent is the best fucking player ever. No, he's nowhere near that. He's a good player. I don't think that anybody's locked up center forward right now. I really don't. And I think we need to just get off. Like, this clique is saying Balogun sucks. This clique says Pepe sucks. This clique says fucking Sargent sucks. None of them suck. They're all going through various ups and downs with their club teams. Balogun ups and downs for sure. Sargent on a high with his club, but missing some opportunities during the season, and Pepe not getting in a lot of playing time. They're all different situations, and to just wrap it into a bundle for each player and say this player sucks and this player sucks and this player, give me a break.
It's one of those things again where I can understand. I feel like 99% of the Sargent hate that comes simply becomes from the fact that he hasn't scored in a long fucking time for the U.S. national team. If he had scored a couple of goals periodically here and there type of thing, even if they weren't meaningful games or goals or whatever, the mentality would be completely different with him. But the fact that he doesn't score, people are looking at that going like, well, gee, he sucks for the U.S. men's national team. But then that's disregarding what else he brings to the actual game itself. The play against Panama, where he connects with Pulisic, right, and Brendan almost got his goal. Yeah. That was almost a mirror image of the goal we scored against Wales in the World Cup. Yeah. It's all like I fucking identical, quite frankly. But to sit there again, let's say Brendan scores that. Pulisic got the assist. Yeah, a year from now, nobody would remember that. You know, it was that 1-2 combination with Sargent that opened it up. But that's the thing. It's the little things that are done off the ball or with the ball that aren't necessarily logged in as stats that won't go down in history. And you're just going to sit there and go like, Oh, that guy was a fucking flop, man. He played like 40 fucking games for the U.S. men's national team, got 3 goals he scored in the first 20 or 10 games.
I'm going to say this last thing. Sargent can't be that bad. i.e., interest from Premier League teams, multiple players from different teams, not just on Norwich, but also at Leeds and otherwise, saying he's the best center forward in the championship. And coaches, multiple coaches saying he is the best center forward in the Premier League. Like, you don't, or the championship, I'm sorry. You don't get those kind of like quotes, and it's just not going to happen unless people really think you're that good. Now, is that going to translate into the U.S. men's national team? That's just going to depend on how we set up and play and what we're asking our center forward to do. If you want to make a lot of, through the lines runs, then Balogun's your man. And second behind that would probably be Sargent, because he makes those runs too. But, you want a guy that can finish in the box? That's Pepe. Pepe finishes in the box. You want a guy that can head the ball? That's Sargent, and Pepe ain't going to be Balogun, because Balogun can't head a fucking ball in the goal to save his life. He's not that kind of player. He's not physical. He's not going to get up in the box on a cross ball and head it into the goal. That's not what Balogun does. It's not going to happen. So I just think it depends on how we set up and how we want to play. And in Greg's system, you would more rather have a Pepe or a Sargent because we cross the ball forever. We crossed it constantly. So you got to have somebody in there. Even a Pifak would be better because he's going to get his head on the ball and put it in the goal. But for Balogun, that was very frustrating for Balogun playing with Berhalter. He was pissed. You could see it coming off of that one game. He was frustrated. He's like, I got no passes. I got no service. I got no through balls. Fuck this system. Greg, your system sucks.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, though. There are a number of games where it was literally that, where Ballo simply wasn't receiving the ball. He wasn't getting any opportunities. He was checking too far back to be as efficient as he would normally be as a 9. And we're sitting there going like, well, it wasn't a great game by him, but the system just doesn't play to his advantage. But then another player comes in, does the same thing, and it's just like, he sucks.
Yeah. Hot black Desiato. Norwich is pronounced like porridge with an N. No, we know that. We do this purposefully on the show.
Because we're American.
You're probably not around for a long, but the actual real English pronunciation of Norwich before it, the language changed in England was Norwich. That was the actual pronunciation of the town. Now, over the years, as the language has changed in English, in English slang and English, as the evolution of the language happened, it's now Norwich, right? So, and then as you're saying, porridge, but, an N, not Norwich. No, we absolutely know that. We've actually talked about this on the show to extent and the evolution of the English language.
I mean, don't lump me into that. I'm going basically what you've said. So,
well, I
say Norwich because I'm an American and I see the W and I pronounce the W.
Well, I'm doing it on purpose. I know that people pronounce it Norwich. I like putting the W back in because originally the town was called Norwich. Even in English, it was pronounced Norwich. But then, because of the evolution and the dropping of certain consonants in the English language, lots of different consonants were dropped. So it ended up being Norwich. They just dropped the W completely based on how the evolution of the language changed. So anyhow, we already talked about that on another show, so I don't want to bore people.
As Primmer mentions here, is like Leicester. You'd think it's how it's pronounced, but it's actually more like molester.
It's Leicester.
Yeah, it's Leicester. Yeah. So that's the one English town that I'll legitimately not pronounce phonetically because I don't want to look like a bumbling idiot that badly.
Right. So just so you know, because you're new to the show, we do this shit on purpose. Like, I have actually joked around and called Leicester before on the show, but that was like years ago. Because the pronunciations of so many towns have changed in England over the years
I'm horrific at pronouncing things. So,
well, I will say Norwich because our I'll say Norwich because our regulars know I'm kidding around, but it is Norwich. They don't pronounce the W anymore. That's how it goes. So, yeah, we get it. We get it. We love you. Thanks for being here. For the 220 of you here, make sure you like, subscribe, share it with your grandma. John Napoleon is not short. He was not short. He was average height for his era. That was propaganda spread by the English media all over the world. They haven't quite stopped doing that, actually. But, hey, what the hell? What else we got, Brett?
Just for shits and giggle.
Yes.
So World Cup's coming in 3 years. This is once in a lifetime. He's going to be in the prime of his career, his life as a soccer player, making plenty of money. But the ability to come to MLS, kind of like Messi did. I'm not so sure that wasn't a big.
Not kind of like Messi did. No,
Messi came to MLS because the U.S. is hosting the World Cup.
I mean, he came here because there's lots of money. He's got an investment into the league now. He's getting a percentage. No, it's not like Messi. Messi's an aged man.
Aged.
You're going to say aged?
Would you say aged?
It is pronounced aged.
Okay, I'll agree with you because you're the linguist.
I am the
English language speaker.
I am the English major, but let me just say, I agree with you. That's bullshit. AGE is age, and you add a D to it. It should not be aged. It should be aged. Yet, when you say middle-aged, it is still aged. But when they're old, it's said aged. He's an aged person. Isn't that fucking weird? What the fuck are we doing with this language?
Hang on. I want to have a battle here. Give me 2 seconds.
Anyhow, yeah, that's just we don't need to finish that. Everybody knows what Donovan.
Oh no, we got to finish it. That's a great line. Hold on.
Aged.
They're wrong. They're wrong. It's aged.
It's Google.
If you're old, you're an aged man. But maybe that's a British thing. I don't know. That's how I've been taught my whole life to say it.
Yeah.
He's an aged man, not an aged man. He's a real aged man.
He's aged. Right. He's aged quite nicely. Well, I've heard that before. He's aged quite nicely.
Okay.
I've never heard it aged quite nicely.
So you need to play the same thing as it's referenced to being. So there are 3 different contexts in which that word can be used. So I'm sure there's a 2 and there's a 3 below that one.
Maybe.
There is for sure. Because if you're old, you're aged. You're not aged.
Hold on. Broken same context. Let's see here. What do you say? I think it depends on what part of the country you're in. Huh?
No, it doesn't. It depends on what the context is. As Brett just said, that aged poorly. Then you used aged. But if you're talking about an old person, they are aged. That is different. I know this for a fact. This is a fact, folks. Oh, maybe not. It could be a different fact in whatever other English-speaking country. No, I'm not.
You're full of shit. You're full
No.
of shit.
Old people are considered aged. If you say that aged poorly, that meme aged poorly, that is aged. Old people are aged. They are not aged. Sorry, that's just how it's done.
Yeah.
All right. Elderly people.
The more you know.
Elderly people are considered aged, not aged. That's ridiculous.
And that could be the difference on how the use, like you're saying, the use of the word itself could be
correct.
Verb versus adjective versus
correct.
Yes, proper pronoun. Who knows?
Verb, it's aged. Adjective, aged. I think for the most part, as M. Zweig says, verb or adjective. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So let's finish this horseshit from him.
And I think it would have been a great move, not just because my former team that I love, but the Galaxy to go out and get Christian and bring him here and pay whatever you have to pay him. Pay whatever you have to pay him. Bring a global, well, not a global, but a American superstar who has global recognition back to MLS.
Oh my God!
World Cup. I think it would have been a great move, and I can hear the Twitterverse going crazy and telling me I'm
so the upside for Christian is
he's already hearing the Twitterverse.
Here's my biggest thing: he needs to play, right? And I know
if only he would play. Me, let's talk about like it's no guarantee he'd play at AC Milan. No guarantee. No guarantee.
No way. No way. He sucks.
So you might as well just accept your role in life and come on down here. This low bar we settled for you.
By the way, Bandit's saying go back to school, Derek. I am. I'm teaching it. And it's agent, motherfucker. We love you, but fuck that shit. Come on, man. You know I'm right. Go look it up.
Just add salt in Donovan's wounds. After yesterday's goal in the Champions League, Christian Pulisic has 10 goals / assists and 11 matches for AC Milan. What a season he's having so far in 11 matches.
Oh, Bandit said that's the joke. Okay, cool. We were laughing anyhow, but
yeah,
listen, we can look this up, Brett. Maybe you should before we end the show, but you just looked it up, Derek. Laughing out. No, I did not. I don't type anything on this show. I'm incapable of doing that. Incapable. Look up synonym for elderly, aged, should come up. Anyhow, it's no bigs, as Broken Furnace says, but sometimes when we're talking about
Derek, don't worry, I got your back. I got your back, bro.
All right.
I need to add audio though.
Okay.
This word can be pronounced as aged or aged, depending on how it is used in the sentence.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. I will take a bow and we will end the show. Shh. Shh. All right.
We can't quite end the show on such a high note. We got to bring it back down and talk about our depth.
All right. So depth. These are the categories. Either you're excellent in auto starter, you're above average, you're a bench average player, or you're catastrophic emergency backup. Right?
My wife says I'm above average, but she laughs every time she says it. So I'm not sure if I'm believing it.
I think you might just be average then. She's giving you an A, but you're really a B. All right, so you want to do this by position?
Yeah, let's just start position, go up, or down.
Yeah, that's how your wife likes to do it too, by position.
Yeah. Well, who doesn't? That's a great. Who does? Who wants to not do it by position?
She's like at missionary.
Who just goes willy-nilly all over the place?
Brett, at missionary, you're a B. But you know what? In the doggy, you're an A. You really got your hips into it there.
Well, I mean, that's not fair. You also have to take into curvature as why certain things are good.
Are you Peronis? You got Peronis?
What? No. What is it? Which one is that? Just curvature? Is that curvature in general?
Peyronie's disease? Yeah, that's when you have a curvature in your penis.
I'm just saying.
Do you have that?
Who knows?
Okay. You don't have to televise it, I suppose, but I get it. You might. All right. The old curve, as Broken Furnace says. The old curve. All right, goalkeeper. Let's just start it there. Let's just say every single goalkeeper we have is right now either average or an emergency backup. We don't have anything above average.
Yeah, no, 100%. Every single one's B.
So,
and quite frankly, I mean, we can lump Turner as a B, I guess.
But that's being nice. He's
guess.
more in the old days, he would be considered an emergency backup.
In the old days?
In the old days with Keller.
Okay, I'm with you. Yes.
He would be, and he is actually considered on his club at Crystal Palace to be an emergency backup. So really, we got a bunch of C's. Horvath is in fucking playing at Cardiff, and he is an emergency backup player. Okay? We got Dick at goalkeeper. That's the point with our depth. At goalkeeper, it's Dick. All right.
I mean, I guess my argument was going to be that that Turner is still our number one, unfortunately, because he's had a decent performance against Panama. But I don't know. I'm kind of confident just saying let's throw Schulte in there and just let him run with it.
Schulte still would have been an emergency backup in the old days.
Agreed, but he's also like 21 years old, so
I get it. All right, left back. Jedi, obviously, excellent. Auto starter.
Auto starter guaranteed, yeah.
After that, it's troubling. Everybody is an emergency backup. And that is, what's his face? Dick that plays
Lund.
Lund that plays at Palermo, who's in the Serie B. And, like, Tolkien.
Wiley and Tolkien, yeah.
I mean, we'll see if Wiley turns into a B, but right now he's a C, and so is Tolkien.
So you'll also see that we're not going to incorporate, say, a Scally or a Dest as a backup left back here because we're keeping them in their actual positions.
Right. So we moved to right back, by the way.
Yeah.
And we got Dest, and that is an excellent auto starter. And then after that, it's Scally, who's, I'd say average. He's average.
I'd give him a B for backup average. Yeah.
After that, we got Fossey, who is, again, I'd say average.
And this is the thing, though. His performances that I've been introduced to have been very limited. So I can't sit there and say he's an emergency backup or he's average. I would say his limited performance with the national team would lump him in with that backup average. Sure.
Yeah. And then, I don't know, you could throw in a bunch of other right backs, but I think right now that's where we're kind of at.
I mean, everybody else falls into the emergency backup at that point.
Yeah, exactly. So not very deep. And then we get into center back, and we got, let's start, Ream is kind of turning into B, average.
He's definitely average, yeah.
And then
he's on a downward trend hard right now.
And then we got an injured for Crystal Palace. We got an injured Richards. I'd say he's average. And then we've got
McKenzie,
who
seems to be on the up and up, but still, I would say average.
I'd say average. I'd say Kramer Carter Vickers, average. I'd say trusty emergency.
I don't even know if I'd lump CCV as average, quite frankly. He has not shown me anything with the national team.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking B minus.
He's starting to lump into the emergency backup for me, yeah.
So does Trusty.
His move to Celtic really is solidifying that emergency backup. I would have preferred him to stay in the championship, quite frankly.
Miles, emergency backup.
He's been that since his injury.
Like, we're sucking at center back right now. We suck. Our depth is poor. It's crap.
Remember the good old days when we had a guy who left his Green Bay house at the age of 18, went to England, and started in like the 9th division in England.
No,
He became an EPL starter for a season
at
or
Watford.
two there.
Yep.
I mean, where did those guys go?
They're not around anymore.
Where did those guys go?
let's start at holding midfielder Tessman. Average.
Let's assume that everybody's healthy.
Yeah.
Let's take injuries out of the equation.
Adams would be above average for me if he were healthy.
Yes.
McKennie the same. And maybe even an E as an auto starter. I
think McKinney depends on the form. We're talking about in shape McKinney, he's an auto starter. And if he's not in shape, he's average.
Yep. And
that's a massive jump, I know, but it matters.
Yeah, it is. It does matter. Cardoso, right now, average.
Yeah, he's definitely average.
It's not blowing me away at Real Batiste right now. And then who else we got? Luca De La Torre is.
Luca De La Torre right now is average emergency at this point.
Bench guy at best or worse because he doesn't play anymore. Maloney probably. By the way, when Luca De La Torre is healthy, he's still not playing for Celta Vigo. That's over. He's done. The coach has already said his services are not needed. He'll need to look for a new team in December. Maloney, I would put as a center back, I'd say he might be above average if you gave him a chance. But as of right now, I'd say he'd be an average replacement, a B in the midfield.
Yeah, I guess it depends on how you're playing as a whole on the formation.
Sure.
But as far as the duels that we saw with Busio and Morris in this situation, yeah, I think he'd be average.
I think Busio is also average.
Yeah.
He's a B. Tessman, I think we already mentioned, average. So a lot of average.
What about Morris? We didn't mention Morris yet.
Aiden Morris, still average. I was looking for him to bump up to above average, but no, still stuck at average.
He
had some great performance.
He's teetering for average to emergency for me.
Yeah, because he started out so good at Middlesbrough.
Yeah.
And lately, the last game, not bad for Middlesbrough. But, he lit it up at Middlesbrough at the beginning of the season. Then a little bit of drop-off, and then not so great with us. So, yeah.
I thought his Panama match was okay. But the Mexico match, he was just overrun. Everybody was overrun, but he was overrun.
Yeah, not all his fault because the setup was bullshit.
Mexico exposed his speed.
Yes, by the way, both Tessman and Morris, not the quickest. They are not going to prance around like deers anytime soon. They are both limited speed-wise. I saw it today with Tessman playing for Lyon. He had a breakaway, and he just could not. There was no next gear. No next gear. He got cut up, he got trapped, and then he made the most wrong decision on the breakaway. He made the wrong pass. Other than that, he had a decent game, but yeah.
In comparison, I watched a video highlight of it was just a clip of Messi in his most recent match. I don't even know who it was against. Nashville or something, maybe.
Columbus. I don't know.
Maybe it was in Columbus actually. And they were showing him, and the ball was being played around. He was just sort of standing there, looking around. He'd maybe make a step here or a step there, but he's just standing there in the middle of the pitch. And then all of a sudden, he jogs over 10 steps, passes the ball, one touch back, and then runs into the box and scores a goal.
Scores. Oh yeah, that was Columbus. Yep.
So you don't need to be a Brendan Aronson running around like a chicken with your head cut off.
Yeah, we haven't got into that because now we're getting into the CAMs. Reyna should be, if healthy, above average.
Mm-hmm.
Not healthy.
When he plays and when he's played in his position, I'll say above average.
Yeah, for sure. When he's healthy, he's done well for us. 4
goals and 4 assists since the World Cup for us. So
for us, he's been above average. But then you get to Tillman, and he's verging on emergency backup at this point.
Yeah, man, he's one of those players that literally just doesn't show up for the national team. I don't know what it is.
Aronson, based on the last game, is verging between emergency backup and average too as CAM.
Yeah.
So
He needs to start packing on some weight.
Well, he just needs to grow a pair of fucking balls. You know?
A nice 5-10 pounds worth of muscle, I think, would be nice.
So left wing, Pulisic, of obviously excellent E.
Do we want to branch out in that cam position? Because I guess
Not really.
back is still going to be lumping in them. But I mean, like with Luna and Mihailovic would be
they're not
attacking midfield options.
No, they're nowhere near even sniffing those a role on the U.S. men's national team. Nowhere near.
Well, I guess are we talking about a 4-3-3 here?
Even a 4-2-3-1.
My point would be is that if it was a 4, let's say if we go with the poach 3-4-3 or 3-4-2-1.
Nope.
Then we would have had to lump in Pulisic and weigh in all them into that quote unquote 10 role.
No,
we just did.
Because even in a 4-2-3-1, we know where Pulisic's playing.
Well, I didn't say a 4-2-3-1 though.
Regardless,
I said a 3-4-2-1.
Oh, a 3-4-2-1,
which is what Poach played those 2 games.
I still don't think you're going to get a sniff for Luna or Mihailovic. No, nope.
Fine.
I don't think you are.
I don't know. I could see Poach going into MLS a little bit and just testing a couple players.
I doubt it. Maybe we'll see, Brett. You could be right, but
I will be right. Maybe not.
And then left wing, there is Pulisic, obviously an E for excellent. We got
Haji.
I'd say that he's between an A and a B. He's damn good when he plays.
He's definitely a difference maker. Although the formation and tactics change when he comes in because he doesn't check back like our other wings do. He basically ultimately plays as a second striker in that sense.
Paredes, I'd say is average right now. More of an emergency backup, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, and then
he needs to get healthy.
On the right, you got Weah, who I think is above average, barely.
Somewhere between an A and a B.
Yep. And then outright after him, you got who? Zendejas?
Do we lump BA as a cam?
Well, if you want to throw Brendan Aronson out there, fine. But I think he's been pretty much designated as a CAM, but he can play out there. So I would still put him there as average to emergency after Weah, honestly.
Yeah. Oh, no. Nothing changes as far as his rating's concerned. I just didn't know I forgot if we already talked about him as a cam, though. So that's all.
We did. And then Zendejas would be like average to emergency, somewhere between the two, close to emergency.
Pretty much an emergency for me.
Yeah. And then at center forward, you got Balogun, who I think right now is just average.
Somewhere between an A and a B. I think his time around Copa, he really started to shine a little bit better.
But still,
it was all under Berhalter, and that whole system really fucked him over.
Yeah, we really haven't got to see much yet.
Yeah,
and then the club thing's been rough. So I'm going to say average. I'm going to say average for Pepe. I'm going to say average for Sargent.
Yeah, no, that's exactly where I'd go with that.
And then
everybody else that falls that is emergency backup.
Yeah, PFOC is emergency. Vasquez is emergency.
Oh, we forgot Cal out left, by the way.
Cal. Okay, well, if Cal keeps kicking ass now that he's healthy again in the Mexican Liga MX, I'm willing to discuss that for sure.
If he's proving he has more than just a cut into the middle and shoot with your right foot, I mean,
which he has at times,
that he's kind of growing and developing as a player.
Yeah, so if he can continue to grow that, I like what I've seen from Cal in Liga MX. I like the left-footed pass, the left-footed assists that I'm seeing. So I'm going to keep an eye on him. I'm not giving up on K. Cal.
No.
He could become a way better other Morris, Jordan Morris, because he is Jordan Morris. He basically is Jordan Morris right now, but
pre-knee injuries. Yeah.
Yes, but could turn into a way better player than Jordan Morris ever was. Also, so Jose Reyes says for $5, Sargent played well in World Cup. He's been injured. Otherwise, I want goals, but maybe he's a layoff player for the U.S. men's national team. He can also play mid and winger. Yeah, I mean, it's a great thing about Sargent. You can play him a lot of different places. If we played a 4-2-2, you could actually play Sargent as the holder and Balogun as the line runner. Like, that would be amazing. Like, Sargent gets the pass. He holds it up. Balogun makes the run. Sargent makes the pass. If you play a 4-4-2, you got two strikers. I mean, there are other ways to play a two-striker system. That would be an amazing thing to actually experiment and do. You could even do a 4-4-1-1 and have Sargent play as the holding sort of CAM / second striker and have Balogun run off of him instead of playing two up front. So, I mean, we'll see.
Remember the good old days?
Sargent's an 8.
Good old days.
I'd say at the best, Sargent's a 10 at best.
There are a number of players who we didn't cover, who could get a call up at any moment because of Poach might want to venture out into some randos.
Okay.
Maybe if anything to light a fire under his normal starters. But I think the players we basically covered are who we're going to be looking at going into the World Cup.
I'd agree.
There may be some surprises, and all those surprises are emergency backup until proven otherwise.
So I know we're going to get it, so I'm just going to deal with it. Slonina, not ready for prime time, guys. Go watch him play in the third level in England. It's been painful to watch.
The only argument there is that nobody else in goalkeeper outside of Schulte is really proving otherwise.
So you've got shit, and then below the shit, you've got another level of shit. Like, somebody's got to stand out, and Coachin's just too young yet, guys. He's too young. He's practically an infant when it comes to goalkeeping. So, and then he's not even playing for Barcelona's youth teams. What's going on with that? Why is he riding pine for the youth teams? That's got to change.
Didn't he just come back from injury recently?
He might have been. So I just noticed he didn't play for the U19s in the youth league this weekend. And I'm like, oh, come on. What's going on? Maybe he's injured, as you say. So, but yeah, a lot of work on goalkeeper, a lot of work on depth everywhere because we just don't have – we got players playing with good teams, but it's not translating. It's just not. And that's going to be on the coach. The coach and the way we set up and the way we play can fix that problem. Tillman doesn't have to look like a disabled veteran playing for us, like a guy who's disinterested and confused and doesn't know where he's supposed to be. That doesn't need to happen if Poach has more time with these guys. And he can fix that. And I don't think people made a lot of commentary like, where's the heart and guts? Okay, fine. I thought there was some, you might make that, criticism. I thought the players looked confused. I thought the players looked like we don't know what the fuck we're doing. I thought the players against Mexico looked like we're getting our ass kicked. This is embarrassing. I'm feeling bad. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to be. I don't know where to set up. That's what I saw. I didn't see a total lack of effort. I saw a lack of fucking cohesion. I saw a lack of where are we supposed to be and do.
We had in against Panama, I thought we looked fine in that sense. There was some messiness because obviously it's
okay. I wasn't going to say fine, but okay.
It's the exact same lineup and the exact same expectation, minus Pulisic and McKenzie, of course. But it's the exact same lineup and formation expectation. What I think happened was Mexico's game completely took us out of ours, and there was no adaptation,
none
from players or from Poach.
No, none.
Because again, your midfield's getting overrun throw a bigger body in there to disrupt shit.
Yeah, I'd say put another additional midfielder off on there and take out Scally, or make it a 4-4. Like if you're getting overwhelmed in the midfield, make it a 4-4-2, or make it a 4-1-4-1, or make it whatever.
I think once Lund came in for Jedi, it basically went to a flat 4.
Yeah, I think that, and this, I experienced this playing in the state finals against Ballard. We played a 3-1-3-3 all season. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Ballard played a 4-5-1. Like in the midfield, we were completely outnumbered everywhere. It was like, holy shit, there's 5 against 3. I know they're only playing one striker, but they're dominating the midfield. And let's be really honest, people. The midfield is where the games are won and lost. That is where the games are won and lost, because it's the transition between defense and offense. And if you're getting your ass creamed, then the fucking striker's never going to see the ball. He's never going to touch it. Our striker never touched the ball. So, yeah, I mean, you can't let that happen. You got to adjust. You're playing two, essentially, really, and what Poach was playing was essentially 2 midfielders in his system there. They were totally overrun, totally, completely dominated by the Mexican midfield, and he made 0 adjustments. 0.
Yeah.
0, 0, 0. And like you could be like a basic, like my dad noticed it. He's like, what, why aren't we doing anything different? We're totally dominating the midfield. And I explained to him, well, we only have 2 midfielders, really. 2 holding midfielders that everybody else is supposed to be helping, but they're really not focused on the midfield part. So anyhow.
So that was my complaint on that specific game. When I said that the player management was 100% on Poach, and people were like, oh, that's rough because, it's just, it's his first window. I'm like, it doesn't matter if it's his first window. He has to be able to recognize that something's not working and make an in-game adjustment. You had halftime. And I know that Lund came in, and I forgot who else came in. Was it Zendejas from Moose? And Zendejas brought some energy to the game. But what really brought the energy into the game was when they brought Haji in, and even Vasquez at that point, because you had more of a midfield that were playing with heart, and it opened things up.
Yep. And
it was later in the match, but
yep.
I don't know. It's a 1-game thing. I don't care at that point. I'm gonna be consistent. I'm gonna bitch when I see something. I don't care if it's his first fucking window. He needs to make the in-game adjustments.
Yeah, we're gonna fucking call Poach out because he didn't make any adjustments, and he could. I know he's 5 minutes into being the manager, but shit, at least notice what the problem is and fix it. He didn't even do that. He just said, no, we're just going to run with this. Well, come on, dude. Give the team a chance. Give yourself a chance. But anyhow, it is what it is at this point. And I hope that changes, and we will move on. We'll move forward. I just hope it gets better. Oh, by the way, just want to thank everybody who came out tonight. There were 250 of you. We do appreciate that. And all of the super chats, we love it. It is helpful, keeps the show running, makes us get better mics, better cams, better laptops, everything that makes the show better. And we do appreciate it. We're glad to be back and glad to not be totally sick as we were on Monday. And we'll be back on next Monday for the next show. Again, make sure you give your stepsister a big, wet, sloppy kiss from us. And until the next time, good night from the street.
That hurt.
I'm really proud of the way that the guys just put in the shit. But
Hey, what's it like in Brazil right now? Is it warm?
Yeah.
It's always hot, huh? Yeah.
You really suck.
This sucks more than anything that I've ever sucked before.
You getting that ass, Larry? Know what I mean? You getting that ass, Larry. That's what the fuck you do.
We are enjoying a lot about this time here in.
Why are you holding up a card to indicate a penalty? Like, there's so many different things you can do, and you decide to hold up a card? That's insane to me.
Oh no, I'm